Good morning, my friends. Ben and Woods 97.3, The Fan. So nice to be here with you, the Tier 1s, this morning. Let's get our heads right for a Thursday. I think the spirits are very high in this room. We'll explain why later in this little segment right here, where we like to get lubed up, get loose a little bit, stretch it out, get the old vocal cords going, and get ready for 4 dynamite hours of entertainment here on your radio, your YouTube feed, your Twitch stream. However you want to consume us, you can. We appreciate all of you. It all helps. I'll tell you that right now. I'm Woodsy. That's Paul Reindl. He's our executive producer. He's our imaging director. He's going to have to take a bow later on in the show, Ben. Ben will explain why. Don't you agree he should take a bow?
Yes.
I guess I said let's just wait to tease it, but at 9:20, Paulie's going to need to take a bow for maybe the greatest intro ever put together for a segment on sports radio.
Yes, we have a new segment. We already teased that. We just haven't said what it is yet. And now we can tease that the new segment comes with one of the greatest intros in Ben and Wood's history.
I was very proud of that.
Yeah, as you should be. Yeah. As you should be. This is your Mona Lisa, which is not that great of a painting, actually. If you really want to break it down, if we want to do art history and discussion, it's pretty unimpressive. I've been to the Louvre, and we looked at the Mona Lisa, and I went, I've seen 50,000 paintings in here that moved me more than the Mona Lisa.
Isn't it technically the way, like, her eyes follow you or something? It's, there's something about the background being higher on one side and lower on the other.
Well, if you stare at it a long time, you'll see an actual dragon coming out of the ocean. But you have to really...
it's a magic eye.
Yeah, you have to deaden your eyes, and it's cool. He's on like a big cube. It's really cool. Benjamin Higgins, your friendly neighborhood sports anchor, is here as well. Good morning, Benjamin.
Good morning. And I'm glad that you seem to be in high spirits today and things are good. I was a little worried that you'd be perhaps out of sorts today, because I know this is a big day for you, Woods.
I'm going to throw up.
Not necessarily something you've been like looking forward to.
I haven't. I'm just nervous.
Yes.
Like I'm happy to do it, and I'm kind of excited about it, but I'm very nervous. I have today, when I get out of here, I have a television commercial to shoot.
Oh.
I'm telling you, man.
Mr. Hollywood.
Hollywoods. Dude, if there's one thing you guys know about me, I do not like being on TV. I don't like being on camera. I hate it. I love the bit of radio before, there's a camera right in my face now.
It couldn't be closer.
It could not be closer. You can see up my nose right now. I like being on the radio. I don't like being on TV. When Ben used to have me on Channel 10, he had us on,
a couple times,
there's literally still shots of me like sitting there. Paulie's doing most of the talking. I don't like to be on camera. This is where I'm more comfortable. I'm more comfortable with a microphone in front of 50,000 people or something. Like, that would be more comfortable for me. No problem. But on camera, so I'm shooting a commercial today for Manny Sedano Ford. He's having, I think, a lot of his endorsers out there to help him shoot a commercial. I'm happy to do it. I love Manny Sedano Ford in La Mesa, but
Does Manny have your trailer ready?
My trailer should be ready. Hopefully my rider, everything's...
You got all your foods and
my foods and beverages.
Especially requested.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see.
I hope they have good craft services. I mean, that's a little perk for shooting a commercial that I learned recently.
So I've never done one. I've got my lines. If I could practice with you guys.
Yeah.
All right.
Now, so the delivering of the lines, I think you'll find is actually the easier part. The hardest part of television is the time, I think, when you're not talking, especially when you're in a group, like with other people who have lines. It's what do you do when you're reacting to their lines? When there's a camera there, am I looking at the camera? Am I not looking at the camera? When you're talking, that's the most normal part of being in the commercial.
I always watch Mud and Don, right? And Don will usually start, and Mud will turn his head and nod 3 or 4 times, then look back at the camera, smile, then turn back to Don, nod his head 3 or 4 times, look at the camera, smile.
Which is fine for play-by-play announcer and color announcer. I don't know for a commercial, though, like, is this like supposed to be realistic? Like you're all there together having a conversation?
No,
or
I don't think so.
Is it more of a group, like we're all talking into the camera like the the white glove guys, sort of thing?
So I don't know.
Are you breaking down the fourth wall with the audience, talking directly to them? There's different ways of shooting these things.
So here it is. Here's the directions I have. This is from one of our sales guys.
Oh, good.
He says, all right, so here's the info. Here's your lines. I'll read you how he has it, how he wrote it to me. Hi, Woods here, or however he want to introduce yourself.
These are your lines, so you got to read it. Like, hi, this is Woods, or however else I'd like to introduce myself.
Hello, this is Woods, or however else I would like to introduce myself. I support local. I support San Diego. That's why I'm with Sedano Ford in La Mesa. So I think it would. Do I say Woods? I don't call myself Woods. I call myself Woodsy. Do I say I'm Woodsy from Ben and Woods? Do I say I'm Woodsy from 97.3 The Fan? Do I say, hey, it's Woodsy. Hi, I'm Steven. Hi, it's Steve Woods here. Like, I don't ever call myself that. Hey, how you doing? When I introduce myself to a stranger, hey, how you doing? Steve Woods. Nice to meet you.
I'm the guy who works with Ben Higgins on
I'm the guy that works with Ben and
I like
Paul.
that.
Yeah. All right, so here we go. Take one. Click me. You didn't say action.
Oh, sorry. I'm
All
not
right,
a
can we go
director. I'm
again?
not a director.
Can we go again? I need to
All right,
go
here we
again.
go.
Give me a breather. Hang
Quiet
on.
on the set. Here we go. Places. Here we go. And action.
Hi, Woodsy here from Ben and Woods. I support local. I support San Diego. That's why I'm with Sedano Ford in La Mesa.
It's kind of wooden.
Is it wooden?
Yeah, a little bit. Can you give me a little more feeling? Maybe a little more, emotion to it?
All right,
Is
ready.
there? All right, here we go. Quiet on the set. Take two. Sedano Ford commercial with Stephen Woods. And action.
Hey, Woodsy here.
Okay,
I
now
almost just said
stop rolling.
This
Stop
sucks.
rolling. All right, reset,
I'm gonna be
everybody.
there all- I'm
Reset.
gonna be there all
It's gonna be
day.
a long day for you.
Yeah, it
buddy.
is.
Reset. All right, let's places. Take three. Sedano Ford commercial with Stephen Woods. Here we go. And action.
Hey guys, Woodsy here from Ben and Woods. I support local and I support San Diego. That's why I'm with Sedano Ford in La Mesa.
That was better.
I just winked at the camera
That was
though, like
well,
a pervert.
that was weird, but I thought the delivery was a little better.
okay.
You do have to amplify a little bit. You're on TV.
Yeah,
you
me
know.
plus 10%, right?
Yeah, I mean it's different than radio, but you don't want to you don't want to scare people. Don't scare the viewer.
This sucks. I'm so nervous,
But
man.
be into it. You're enthusiastic. You love Sedano Ford. I mean,
of course I
you
do.
love Sedano Ford. You see a Mustang and your just heart melts. Think about that.
A Bronco.
A Bronco,
but
yeah.
Bronco. I've got to love that Bronco.
That's right. Tony's got the Mustang.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
got the
I
Bronco.
love that Bronco. Well, anyway, so that goes down today. I am just they're roasting me in the chat. They said he winked. He said, I need the wink. Jesus Christ, we're working with a 2x4. Give us some emotion. Woodsy sounds like Wayne and Garth when they were doing their commercial bits. At least I know I have the support of all the tier ones who definitely won't
What are you gonna do with
screenshot the commercials
Oh,
and
yeah.
tweet at me about it, about how big I look or how pale I look or something. I don't know.
I can't see you over there. What are you doing with your hands during all this?
I'm just going to put them in my pockets, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
Because that can look creepy.
Like, I'm not playing pocket pool.
Well,
people will think I
make
am.
sure
Like,
you're not.
Hey, guys, what's up? It's Woodsy. I support local.
It's one of the toughest things for me on television is what do I do with my hands? I have come to the decision, forged over many, 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 many years, that when I am on camera, I always just clasp them together and just hold them like
Just
this.
hold them like
Essentially,
that.
now occasionally I will use them to gesticulate a little bit to reemphasize a point. But if I'm not doing that, they're clasped together in front of me, just right in front of me. Just don't do anything else because everything else, literally everything else I do, looks weird and awkward
I know
with my hands.
I know I shouldn't have brought this up because I'm just going to be a wreck. All this stuff's going to be going through my brain. Do you think they'll have cue cards? They will, right?
I did not when I had my commercial.
When you shot laundry sauce,
Right.
You did not have cue cards. You had to memorize all that.
Yeah, I mean,
BS. That's a lot of dialogue.
I mean, it wasn't. Everything was shot so piecemeal, though. I never had to
That's
say
true.
more than 5 seconds of dialogue
okay,
at a
all right,
time.
good. Maybe they'll do that.
Yeah, it's not like memorizing an entire song and you've got to remember 4 verses of lyrics. It's just one line at a time for the most
Welcome
part.
back to the Masters of Laundry, presented by Laundry Sauce.
That was one
We're
whole
looking
take
in
right
on
there.
rookie Andrew Collins, who's never done laundry a day in his life. His approach on step 1.
Cut.
Wow. He separates his whites from his colors. Incredible instincts for his first time on the
love
pro laundry
Sedano
tour.
Ford.
Cut.
Now, he's got to avoid the hazards here, like cheap ingredients and harsh chemicals that can leave your clothes in the rough.
Cut.
He's discussing it with his caddy.
Cut.
He pulls out laundry sauce, the world's
That
best-smelling
one took
premium
so
laundry
long.
pod.
Did it?
Oh,
with
God.
designer scents like Australian sandalwood and Siberian pine. And the approach looks good. My God, he sinks it right into the hole. Just an incredible performance
good.
by the rookie. Boy, what a story this afternoon with laundry sauce, the world's best-smelling laundry detergent. A beautiful moment here as Andrew greets his wife. She smells the laundry sauce. His jacket feels butter soft. Sexceptional. Why use detergent when you can use laundry sauce? Click the link to master your laundry like a pro and join the society at laundrysauce.com.
I'm very glad I don't have to say
So-
Sexceptional. Was
though.
that
I didn't
was
write
that your
it.
line,
no,
Ben?
No, I did not come up with that line. And
That was
I will
improv.
say that my interpretation was very different, but the director had me take it in a number of different directions, and I don't know that I would have made the same choices, but there were a few where I was definitely prodded into giving it a different sort of feel and a different sort of read. So don't go in with just like, okay, this is how I'm going to do it. Be willing to take the direction.
Okay, I will.
And yeah, I mean,
again, I support local. I support San Diego. That's why I'm with Sedano Ford and La Mesa.
do it like you're being held hostage. They may want you to do it that way.
I support local. I support San Diego. That's why I'm with Sedano Ford and La Mesa.
That could be the way they want to go. You never know what direction they're heading with. Someone else's creative vision, not yours.
That's true.
You're just a tool.
Should've,
You're just a piece to the puzzle. You're a tool to be used by the director in this
Do
commercial.
you want to trade shirts so you can wear a Ben and Woods shirt?
No, I have the 97.3 The Fan shirt that they wanted me to
Our
bring.
shirt looks cooler.
Oh yeah, it does. It looks way cooler. But I need to do that. Adam will be mad. I probably have to say it's Woodsy here with 97.3 The Fan. San Diego's #1 sports station.
Don't wear that
97.3
one.
The
You get a
Fan.
little tiny stain.
No,
on
I'm
the
not. This
front.
I have
Okay.
2 other shirts. This was for the deal. Oh, before we break, I thought it might be fun to let our tier ones know. Just a little news that we got yesterday. You know, tier 1. That means you are the top tier. Tier 1, number 1. Pretty good phone call yesterday before the Padre game started from the old boss man Adam Klug. Letting us know again, hey, some ratings came in, and the station's #1, and that's great. We love that.
For the month of August.
The month of
now?
August, but something happened to the Ben and Woods program that has never happened before. Getting close. We've gotten close, but we are now officially #1 morning show, Men 2554 in the San Diego area. Benjamin, you are #1. Paulie, you are #1, and most importantly, our audience is #1. And my heart
#1 sports show.
No. #1 morning show. Beat everyone. We beat everyone. And again, overall, #1. Like nobody ahead of us.
Like even the good shows.
Even the good
We're
shows.
even
Yeah.
beating them.
Yeah.
Not just all the crappy ones.
Correct.
But we're beating the good shows
Yeah,
too. That's weird.
And yeah, it's trust me, it's weird. We've gotten really close, and but hey,
I always
listen,
wanted to beat all the other crappy shows. I wanted to be the king, like the best
King
worst
of-
show in the morning.
king of the crap shows.
But there were big time shows.
Oh, yeah.
No, there was no chance you're going to beat the big time.
There's
one.
been a few times where we've gotten second, and
Yeah.
you would say, well, technically, it's #1 because
no, we've never even gotten that. We've never had like the Spanish station above us. We've never been #1. Not even a technical. This is the first time that we've ever been a sweeping #1. So we obviously couldn't do it without you guys. So I'm just massively appreciative. And I was watching, of course, put on the scene in Private Parts when they tell Howard that he's #1 in New York. And he the next day put on a big rally and had AC/DC perform for his audience. We can't afford that, and Odyssey can't afford that either. So we give you the Red Hot Chili Pipers. Yeah, thank you, Tier 1s. You guys are amazing. Hell yeah. Oh, this is Rodeo, right?
Rodeo by Garth Brooks. This was listener Mike.
Beat you yesterday and take on Woods.
God, he did. I got my ass kicked yesterday.
Appropriate as well, considering announced this week
Yes.
the first ever Petco Park Rodeo coming in
Our
January.
listeners are much smarter than we are.
Did you see the guys that threw out the first pitch the other day? It was like Lariat, Wyoming. And it was like, I mean, their names were perfect.
It was Rocker Steiner and Stetson Wright. I'm sure that was their birth name. Like,
I'm
you
sure
know what?
it was.
We want our kids to be rodeo stars,
Yeah.
so I'm going to name you Stetson, and I'm going to name you Rocker.
Rocker
Steiner and
Rocker
Stetson
Steiner,
Wright.
Stetson what?
Right.
Right.
WRIGHT.
This is the most, you can say anything you want about football players and lacrosse players and hockey players. Nobody in the world tougher than a rodeo guy. Nobody. Not even close. It's not even particularly close. Bull riders, that's it. The number one toughest man on the planet.
Even the rodeo clowns are pretty tough.
100%. A guy,
Yeah,
and
okay.
usually you see these rodeo bull riders, and they're about, I don't know, 115 pounds and skinny as hell. They will literally rip your throat out with their bare hands. They're the toughest dudes. The high school I went to had a rodeo team. It's a true story. Grapevine, Texas.
So Texas.
It's so Texas. The girls there used to get in fights with football players. The
girls
used to
rodeo
beat
team.
the crap out of football players. There's no one tougher than rodeo people. None. In the world. Don't ever challenge somebody. If you see somebody.
Boxer?
No.
They didn't do bull riding in high school.
Yeah, they did.
They did. They did bull riding
Damn right
on
they did.
high school.
Yes.
In high school rodeo.
On the high school grounds. You could go back to your
There's
car.
a bull on your high school.
In our parking lot, Ben, if you walk to the very back of our parking lot, there was the gates and the stables. And you could hang your arms over there and watch them riding bulls. Like, if you ever
One hand,
yeah.
the whole
Underneath,
thing. Yeah.
If you ever see a guy with Wranglers on that has a white crease going right down the middle and a starched shirt that puffs out like he's got, shoulder pads on, and he bumps you in a bar, just buy him a drink. Buy him 2 drinks. Say, I'm sorry, man, let me get the hell out of your way right now. He will absolutely beat
What are the other
snot out of
events
you.
at a rodeo?
There's barrel racing, which
where
is
you
awesome.
ride on a horse around like a course.
There's roping.
Oh yeah, the with steer, and you try to
Yep.
rope around their horns and then wrestle them down to the ground.
Yep,
Ooh,
yep. There's all kinds of stuff, but bull riding's it. They're the toughest people on the planet.
What's
I
the
can't
movie?
even imagine.
8 seconds.
Lane Frost. It's one of the best movies ever. I cry every time. It's so good. So there you go. There's your rodeo talk. By the way, I want to go to that rodeo.
Well,
at
I've
Petco
always
Park, badly.
been partial to the expression. Hey, this isn't my first rodeo.
But that would be
my first rodeo. Actually, I've never been to a live rodeo
Hang on.
before.
I got a question. Have you ever ridden a mechanical bull?
No,
Oh, I've
I've
done
never
that.
even been to a bar that's
I
had
have.
one. I don't think
I've done it.
Oh, we're gonna have to make that happen.
Yeah, that
Is there? San Diego has some mechanical
They used
bull
to at PB. I
bars.
went to a place that had it. We did a bit.
Does
It's-
Moonshine Beach or Moonshine
Flats?
Flats
I have no
one?
idea. I have no.
If anybody
idea.
knows,
I bet
of a
there's one in
bar
Arizona
with
at
a
spring
mechanical
training.
bull.
Almost certainly, you can find.
Oh,
one.
out at spring training.
Out
for
at
sure.
spring training.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll have to set the over under.
He'll break his back though. That's the thing. Is like I'm afraid he'd hurt his neck.
Yeah. I'm surprised that there hasn't been more baseball players injured by mechanical bull riding
In spring training.
In spring
Well, I
training.
think they're
I did
smarter
it one
now.
time. I was like 20 years old. We were in Vegas, and some place had a mechanical bull.
I mean, there's
gotta give it a
settings
shot.
like novice,
Well, yeah, you don't get on the
intermediate, expert. You just novice. You go with the.
Stampede has one in Temecula. Yeah, Mike, that's in Temecula though. That's really far. All right, well, we'll try to get that done. I do want to see Ben on a
mechanical bull
would be pretty awesome. Pretty awesome. All right.
I
Well,
think
I guess
when
we
we
have
get
to.
closer to the rodeo, I would like to have one of those guys on
100%.
to give us some of the tips and
Stetson.
tricks of the trade.
No doubt. I have him in. I want to watch them beat the crap out of you. That's what I want. I want you to challenge him and watch him knock your just give you a fat lip.
Why would I do that?
Wouldn't that be
It
fun?
seems
Just
like
to
that would
prove
be
it. They're so tough.
foolhardy
man.
of me to challenge a rodeo professional.
I mean, I think so too, but just to prove my point. Yeah, you are the bull, Anthony
A couple
says.
of people
I'll
have
ride
said
you.
Double Deuce downtown has a mechanical bull,
Yeah,
so
let's get it done.
we will get in touch.
Another thing that we say on the air that we'll never do.
So we have been teasing it for a couple of days now. It is time to reveal what we've got for you coming up at 9:20, our new weekly segment every Thursday at 9:20. Now that football season is here, start of the NFL season, we are going to bring you some top stories, some football talk, some headlines every single week, and we are calling it the Ben and Woods Football Threesome. So, like the Ryler Report's 3 headline, we like to do things in threes. A threesome would be fun. So we're gonna do our football threesome.
You
want to play the
intro?
open? Or do we want to save it for 9:20?
Save it, fine.
You got
so
it.
good.
It's such a good intro, but let's wait
If you're
the
listening
first
now,
time.
you're just gonna have to.
You gotta wait.
You have to
at
come
least
back.
Come
and
back or stick around until 9:20.
It's Paulie's finest work. It really is. And,
The other thing is that because of outcomes like yesterday that have happened so much at Petco Park and with the San Diego Padres, I find myself, and I wonder if other people feel the same way, I'd say twice as excited about football, NFL football starting tonight as I was last year at this very time.
fair. Why not?
Way more.
We weren't even paying attention to football yet at this point last year. We were in the heat of a pennant race trying to clinch a playoff spot, and we would be very, very much involved with the Padres until mid to late October. So, yeah, it's a different feeling this year, and we're going to be more into football this season for sure. What are you most excited about, though, for this NFL season? Just give me a taste.
My fantasy team and gambling.
Okay, gambling, it's a good thing.
That's it.
I mean, storyline-wise, Aaron Rodgers, is that a big story for
yeah.
you going to the Jets?
I'm interested.
I don't know how it can't be.
I'm interested in that.
I don't necessarily. I mean, either way, he has a great season or he falls flat on his face. It's going to be. That's a riveting story,
Sure.
one way or another.
There's a lot of little smaller stories that I'm pretty interested. I'm interested in what the Bears do. Justin Fields, for some reason, I'm interested in does he take the next step? Does Tua take the next
The
step?
49ers quarterback saga, going with Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant. Putting all their chips behind him, but having Sam Darnold just in case. They've traded Trey Lance, but they got a great roster. They fortified it. Re-signed Nick Bosa yesterday. I mean, there are a ton of great storylines this year.
No doubt about it. I'm way more excited, and it's going to be a nice little breather from Padres baseball. It really will be. Yesterday was a turd covered in burnt hair, man. It was absolutely terrible.
Who could have predicted it?
I didn't.
We'll do our Padres wrap up next. In addition to the terrible game with no offense, there was also lots of bad news just came along with that game yesterday.
Legit one of the worst days of the season.
It was a really bad day.
Legitimately.
I will give you credit though. You basically told everyone what was going to happen.
Yeah, we watched enough. We knew.
Like literally.
Yeah.
You said what the final score was going to be.
Yeah, I knew.
I mean, you gave yourself 2 options.
Yeah.
You said it's going to be 4 or 5-1. The Padres are going to lose, and they did lose 5-1. We will wrap it up when we come back later on. We'll talk some baseball with Eno Sarris. It's not like we're stopping talking baseball either. We still have a
I was talking to some people yesterday at the game. The storylines for the offseason are absolutely bananas.
Crazy.
I mean, we're going to be talking hours and hours of this every single day.
And we're going to be following the playoffs and everything, whatever happens.
Nothing changes, baby.
How about that new second baseman the Padres got?
Oh, my God. Look at that guy.
Had a little trouble
sharp.
on an exchange at second, but then made a nice play on a routine grounder. Is there a future for him in this organization? We will talk to Eno at 8:35. All guests on Ben and Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Padres wrap-up coming up next with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. All right, was not unexpected, but yeah, it was not a great afternoon for the San Diego Padres. They did, however, set a new home attendance record. If you include the two home games in Mexico City,
Sure.
they are now at. Let me see if I can remember this: 3,026,191 for the season, which is about 10,000 more than the previous record, which was the year Petco Park opened in 2004, the only time they drew over 3 million fans. So they've done that, and remember, there's still one more homestand to go, 6 more home games to add on to that. So you figure another, 200,000 people coming through the turnstiles. They're going to finish somewhere around 3.25 million fans to set a new attendance record this year. And even Bob Melvin agreed yesterday. The fans were the MVP for the San Diego Padres this season.
You'll hear that clip in our
Padres wrap-up. All right.
'cause Who else?
What else will we talk about?
What else do we really care about?
All right, we'll check traffic. We'll come back with the highlights. We'll come back with Bob Melvin thanking the fans.
Highlights?
The lowlights. And
Highlights.
we got that coming up after the check of
I just hope
traffic
we win a
here.
game.
97.3.
From the Premier Chevrolet Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the all-new Premier Buick GMC of Carlsbad. Guys, our freeways are looking great. However, we do have a problem along the 67. No details on this, but they're saying both north and southbound lanes shut down at Poway Road. So this could be due to an accident. I'll let you know when I get more information on that. But do expect some slowing on the 67 at Poway Road, both directions. Premier Buick GMC of Carlsbad with all new 2023 GMC Sierra 1500 elevation package trucks. $4,000 off MSRP, over 15 in stock to choose from. Stop in or shop online at carlsbadbuickgmc.com, a proud member of the Premier Carlsbad family of dealers. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
It's a shame if they lose.
You can visit Pity City, but you can't live there.
Oh, it's been a great day today. Can't wait for more.
Hey guys, it's Woodsy, live from the Crapper again.
Did you miss any of the Padres game yesterday?
Cancel the parade. That's why you play the games.
Oh, God, here we go.
It's the Padres Wrap-Up with Ben and Woods.
Slam Diego? More like fail Diego.
Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino, fun above all else. On 97.3 The Fan.
I just felt the way that the roster is built, they would have to outscore their opponents to win.
Pitch coming, and Schwarber swings, sends it in the air, straightaway center field and deep. Grisham turns around to watch. This one gonna go. A leadoff home run for Kyle Schwarber. That is a new Phillies franchise record, his 10th of the year, and 4 pitches into the game. Phillies take a 1-0 lead. 28th pitch of the inning about to be delivered, and Marsh swings and misses, strike 3. Back-to-back strikeouts to leave him loaded in the top of the first inning. Waka gives up the lead homer to Schwarber, but that is it. 1-2 struck down into right center field. Harper has found a gap. And the Phillies are finally going to add to their lead as Harper finally has a hit. Sosa scores easily. Schwarber's on his way. He will score a 2-run double for Bryce Harper. That snaps an 0 for 20, and the Phillies now lead it 3-0. 2-0 hit in the air to deep center. Grisham racing straight back at the wall. Looks up, gonna go. Just over the 396 marker to the right of that palm tree out there in center field. A home run for JT Realmuto, his 18th of the season, and the Phillies add on now 4-0 in the 5th. 0-2 from Hill, hit on the ground to the left side. Bogart sliding backhand, can't make the play. Off his glove into left field. Marsh rounding third on his way, he'll score, and the Phillies add another. It's 5-0 on a base hit the other way by Jake Cave. Here's the 1-1. Hard hit line into left field, that'll get down a base hit. Bogart's rounding third, he's going to score without a play. RBI single, Garrett Cooper. Padres not going quietly in the bottom of the 9th inning, and it's 5-1. 1-2 as Zokar swings and misses. That is strike 3, and that is the ball game. Padres avoid the shutout with a run here in the bottom of the 9th inning, but the Phillies take 2 out of 3, and they cap the series with a 5-1 win in the rubber game here this afternoon.
I mean, as amazing as last year was, it even seems more so this year based on the fact that we just haven't played well. But they keep coming out. It really is amazing. I think we broke a record for sellouts, and we still have another homestand coming up. So, Bryce Miller wrote an article about how they're the MVP this year. He was spot on.
That's cool for Bryce Miller as well from the Union Tribune to get the little call out from Bob. If Bob Melvin said, I heard Ben and Woods say that the other day on the show, we would be absolutely over the moon. But yeah, the fans have been amazing this year. The team, not so much. And among the depressing storylines from yesterday, the one that really gets me is, given their track record of coming from behind, when you know that with 85% certainty the game is over after the first batter because they're behind 1-0, that's tough to take. I mean, Kyle Schwarber is going to get his fine, and Michael Walker did a good job getting out of that first inning without any more damage. But, you never really felt the Padres, even down 1-0, had a chance to get back into that game. I think they got runners on the corners in the fourth inning with 2 outs on a walk and a bloop single by Manny. The only hit that Zach Wheeler gave up.
He was ungodly.
And you had Xander Bogaerts, who's been hot lately, up, but he chopped one to third, and that was really the only scoring chance until 2 outs in the ninth, basically, when they did get their one run of the game. But by then it was long over, for that game yesterday.
It's the same old story, same old song and dance, my friend. It's the exact same thing. It's played out almost uncannily most of the season.
Now, Wheeler is good.
Absolutely.
And he is very good against the Padres.
Yeah, he is very good.
His career ERA against the Padres is now 2.06.
Yep.
Including 2 wins in the NLCS last year.
You absolutely had your work cut out for you. But again, you knew exactly how this was going to turn out. Guys like Zach Wheeler, you know what they make our lineup look? They make our lineup look old. That's the pervasive feeling I had.
Which it's not an old lineup. It's actually one of the younger lineups in baseball.
Yeah, it makes them look old. He really does. He makes them look slow and late, and they're barely, just weak ass contact all day. And yeah, man, I hate the tip your hat bit. We have tipped our hat way too many times to a bunch of no names this year.
Even a guy like Ha-Sung Kim, who has been really good this season and has been good with 2 strikes and done the hittery things that some of the other guys have not. Even he looked bad against Zach Wheeler late, and just could not catch up to the fastball against Zach Wheeler. So there is a bit of a tip of the cap. You're going to face good pitchers who are going to be on their game over the course of the season. That's part of baseball.
And they've beaten some good pitchers this season. They absolutely have. But Wheeler, for whatever reason, just, again, one of those guys that seems to have their number. And again, you follow it up. A game after you have an offensive explosion, you knew what was coming. You knew it. And it was as easy of a call as you've seen all year. It's just that's been the deal. So it was a crap game, 1 hit until the 9th inning. And old friend Matt Strom probably kicking himself for giving up hits and 1 run to this San Diego Padres team. We know Matty really well. We were trying to get him on, but he's actually a little under the weather. So missed him this time. Sure, we'll talk to him again down the road. And they're in it, man. They are gunning for playoffs and will probably get there. And they've got a good team. They got a fun team to watch. Kyle Schwarber is just a revelation. He's a revelation. I haven't seen anybody more comfortable hitting at Petco Park than Kyle Schwarber. It looks like a little league field to that guy.
I actually think the Phillies, to me, are the second most dangerous team in the National League to the Braves. I think the Dodgers, especially with their pitching woes, don't feel like they're as capable as the Phillies of making a run. Now, I don't think the Phillies are a championship team. I don't think they can get past the Braves. I don't think they could get past, if they had to face the Astros or whoever is going to make it in the American League. I think they'd come up short again. But in the National League, I actually like them better than the Dodgers right now in terms of getting to the NLCS.
Well, and if the easy money right now, if you had to make your World Series prediction, is probably probably, I mean, the Astros are red hot. I mean, they're just ripping the cover off the baseball. Just absolutely demolished the Texas Rangers. Demolished Max Scherzer yesterday.
I saw a headline a few days ago on ESPN, and I don't remember who wrote it, but one of their insiders, the headline story was like, the Lone Star Showdown. This is going to be such a great series between the Rangers and the Astros. I'm like, it was great for one team.
I think it was the greatest 3-run offensive production series in Astros history. Oh, by the way, that's where the Padres are headed now to face the hottest hitting team in all of baseball, which makes tomorrow's game with Blake Snell on the mound, gunning for a Cy Young against the hottest team in baseball. Actually, a pretty good Friday night game to open the series tomorrow.
It's going to be a great. It's going to be not that he needs it, but if you're Blake Snell and you can go in and shut down that offense as hot as they are right now, that's going to go a long way for your campaign of winning a Cy Young.
Now, one thing he's going to have to do is do it without the catcher who he's been so effective with the second half of the season with Gary Sanchez, who is, of course, going to be out for the rest of the season after he was hit by a pitch in the 8th inning and suffered a broken wrist. Such a bummer of a way for the season to end for Gary. First, he has a home run robbed by Brandon Marsh in the 5th inning.
Great play.
Would have been his 20th of the year, which would have been a nice little milestone to achieve. And then he takes the HBP that ends his season. And who knows, maybe his Padres tenure in the 8th inning. Gary Sanchez, of course, was just a pickup. He's going to be a free agent at the end of the year. And the Padres going to have to, we've talked about this, the decision on their catching core and whether they... I was looking at what the speculation, what it would take, maybe a 2-year, $25 million deal. I mean, Gary Sanchez was a cast-off 3 months ago.
He was on how many teams this season? Three?
At least three. Yeah, Giants,
Mets.
Padres, was cut loose by a couple of them and played his way into what should be at least a healthy little deal to come back. Now, he said he would like to come back. He likes it here. He likes the teammates.
You got the Bomel audio talking about Gary Sanchez yesterday. He's absolutely beloved in there.
He was asked first about G-Man Choi.
Yep.
Yeah, I think he fractured his ankle. I think there's a break there.
Yeah.
And Gary, too. Gary, his right wrist. Had to come out of the game. Fractured wrist.
You have a TBA for Sunday?
Not yet.
Given everything that Gary's meant to you guys, how tough is that?
It's sick to your stomach. He's put together an incredible year. It's been... tough travels to begin with. Gets here and is impactful right away. Fits into this team like a glove. I mean, just a lot of great stuff he's accomplished this year. And, with only, not too much time left to have it's a tough pill to swallow for everybody. He's one of, everybody's favorite in the clubhouse. Like I said, he's just a favorite here for everybody. Gets along great and has been very, very productive. So, unfortunate.
He has been one of the very few bright spots for the 2023 Padres.
Yeah,
no
he's
doubt.
been great.
Sanchez,
Blake
Snell.
About it.
Cosgrove-ish.
Yeah, Cosgrove-ish, Avila.
Everything else would be a stretch. Everything else is a stretch after those three.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, again,
But the Padres are going to have, pitching holes to fill in the offseason. I mean, can you go out and commit, 8 figures on a catcher who before this season was pretty much this close to being out of baseball or at least out of the big leagues?
You really think it's going to take 12-5 a year to get him?
19 homers in 75 games. I mean, if Matt Carpenter got $12 million, I mean...
He got it for 2.
Yeah, but he's also a catcher who was not only better than advertised behind the plate, threw out, I think, 9 runners, way better than the guys they had before, and worked well with the pitching staff. That's a premium position that a lot of teams have trouble filling, which generally drives up the price on the open market. You get a lot of teams who need a catcher. And when you look at the options out there, I guarantee you Gary Sanchez is going to look like there are going to be multiple teams that talk themselves and say, you know what, Gary Sanchez is a lot better than what we probably have right now. Let's go out and get him to improve our catching core. Well, that's just going to drive up the price for the Padres and everybody else.
Easy picks, Ben. Your safe bet on World Series matchup. If you had to handicap it today,
right now,
just based on everything and injuries and things like that can happen as we've seen. But I mean, do you feel
Braves Astros?
Yeah, me too. And I feel bad because I'm not giving some really good teams enough credit.
I mean,
sleeping on my Marlins.
But it never
the Orioles
goes
are a
that
great
way.
story, but I just don't know that when push comes to shove in the playoffs that they're ready yet.
Sure, they're young
to make that step.
Well, in our beloved Marlins, man, I saw the news yesterday. I was so bummed out to see Sandy Alcantara's going on the IL, along with Jorge Soler, who's got a ton of home runs. But they went out and handled business against the Dodgers yesterday. They roughed up Lance Lynn. Congrats to Skip Schumacher. They've won that series against the Dodgers, and I think 5, 6, 7 in a row, something like that. 6 in a row. Yeah, absolutely on fire. But you lose those two big guns, and you're like, all right, man, we're going to have to cobble this thing together. They were talking about him on MLB Network. They said he's got to be in consideration for Manager of the Year with what he's had. And I said, that's my guy. That's my guy.
We will come back. We do have to discuss the unusual position change in the 9th inning yesterday.
Sure.
Don't read too much into it, though.
No,
Please
don't get excited.
And we got a game of real or fake, a chance for everybody to qualify for a trip to Las Vegas. Coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We have Football for you today here on 97.3 The Fan. We will carry live Game 1 of the NFL season from Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City. The Detroit Lions and the Kansas City Chiefs at 5:20 this afternoon here on 97.3 The Fan. We will be your home for Thursday night, Sunday night games, Monday night games, all season long here on 97.3 The Fan, at least when there's no Padres conflicts over the next 3 weeks before the season's over. And then there will be no conflicts after that, I assure you at this point.
I am, I don't know, it's got to be just the distraction of it all, to just kind of get out of baseball mode for a while, focus on some football. It's fun to watch football when you don't really have a rooting interest. Some people might hate that. I like it. I love watching just games. I love just watching the games. The NFL is such a superior product. It's such a good product. They do a really good job every year of putting on the product. And, we'll talk about it at 9:20. We got a new segment for you guys with the best intro in radio history. Thank you to Paulie, our imaging director. I'm so excited for you guys to hear it. It's fantastic. But I'm Hank Williams Jr. asked me, am I ready for some football? And I think the answer is, are you ready for some football? You know what, Hank Jr.? I am.
You are ready.
I am ready for some football. Are you?
I am. The one thing I have not done yet, and I feel like I'm waiting. At some point, I'm going to get into gambling on games.
Yes, my influence.
I'm not there yet.
Off.
I've actually actively held off because I don't have the time. I don't want to necessarily be obsessed with the game,
Sure.
But once I feel like I'm in a place. All right, it's time. I'm going to enjoy that.
Put your sports knowledge to use.
Exactly. Put it to the test. It's almost make it like a competition with yourself.
And wait till you see how much you don't know.
And also, how much you'll get into an absolutely meaningless game.
Correct.
When I put big money, like $5 on it.
What would be your max bet? 10? Like if you're really $20.
$20 is probably
your levels
as high
are,
as I'm willing to probably go.
20. Would you do like a $10 parlay?
Oh yeah, I like parlays.
I would do I would do like $25 parlays before. Most I ever put on a game was $100. I'm not a big gambler.
Yeah.
That was a Super Bowl. I won.
Yeah, feels good.
Feels good.
Feels real good.
You don't want to let it feel too good because then you're like, what am I doing? Only betting 100.
You don't look at it as I just won 100. You're like, I just lost 500 because I didn't put 500 on.
But I'll put
game.
25 to 50 on a game.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Like it'll be on tonight, I'm sure. I don't get into full games though, even when it's the only game of the night, like Thursday night football or Monday night football. It's just hard for me to get into it with teams I don't care. Sunday Red Zone.
Let me say this.
It's elite.
Let me say this.
The product that NFL Red Zone has is elite, and it's on from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. in my house.
Let me say this. We've had to acclimate ourselves to some a different way to watch baseball this year. And it took a little, for me at least, it took a little getting used to. Everything seemed hurried and everything seemed rushed. Now, you're in and out. You love it. You sit. You watch it. The pitch clock never really enters my mind at all anymore. What a great product baseball is. And I know that there are people that don't agree, but I think for the most part, you can look at the rule changes and go, this worked, right? When I watched a college football game over the weekend, I was sitting there going, oh, my God, let's go. I'm 48, so don't give me the millennials all need it faster and better. Like, what human being doesn't want to see something that they like and do it quicker? You know what I mean?
Our buddy Mike down the hall, huge soccer guy. Hates football. He was telling me last week, it's documented. Like the average NFL game, there's only about 18 minutes of action.
That's
of actual gameplay.
That's crazy.
It's a 4-hour broadcast. There's about 18 to 22 minutes of gameplay.
You know what's actually been a subtle win in my mind? Have you watched any of the college football games so far? They made a rule change, and the clock keeps going on first downs. And it used to drive me crazy. Like, okay, first quarter, first down, 13-27. Stop the clock to move the chains.
Right.
They don't do that in the NFL, and it felt like it made college football just take so much longer. They say it added about 7 or 8 plays overall to the game, which doesn't seem like that much, but you had those like 3-hour and 50-minute college football games that would take forever. I like the idea. Just keep that clock going. It shouldn't stop unless there's an incomplete pass, something needs to be reset, there's a timeout. Otherwise, keep those clocks moving in games. Keep it fast paced. Keep plays coming one after another. I like that. I like the rule change so far in college football, just like I've liked the rule changes in baseball to keep play moving, keep the next pitch coming.
Yep.
So I've liked that.
I agree, and football is Chip Kelly had some comments the other day. It was going into halftime. And
Why does he care?
What do you mean?
Well, he runs such a fast offense.
He does, and it was commercials. It was commercials that were killing me. He's like, I hope you guys are making a lot of money because I think we ran 128 commercials in the first half, and he literally in the
Hope
halftime.
y'all are happy.
That's Brian Kelly. That's Brian Kelly, not Chip Kelly.
I understand.
I heard y'all running lots of commercials
and
make that money.
But for the most part, college football
Bill
games
Clinton.
are free. Or the very minimum.
Have you seen my cable bill?
Okay, but a lot of them are over the air. I mean,
Sure.
CBS, ABC, television you can get on an antenna, essentially. Just like Ben and Woods is free to you in the morning, and I know people say, oh, you guys have a lot of commercials. Well, do you want us to do this show for free? And, we wouldn't be here unless we could get paid. And we only get paid because we can sell some advertising, and I get it. Yeah, you got to stop 3 times an hour for breaks, and you wish the commercial breaks were shorter and we were on a little bit more. But it is nice having something you don't have to pay for in this world, isn't it?
Exactly right.
Isn't it? I think it's an okay trade-off for you. Plus, you get chances to win prizes on our show as well.
Jake says the college football rule change has saved 11 minutes overall, but they added 9 minutes of extra commercials for a net savings of 2 minutes and fewer plays. So, holy cow, man! I'm looking forward to watching the NFL tonight. It does get a little bit draggy at times. It does that it can get a little bit draggy, but we're also baseball fans, so what do we know?
You can call now to play some Real or Fake, a chance to win a getaway to Las Vegas. 833-288-0973. Dial up now. We'll pick a contestant for our game in a couple of minutes here. 833-288-0973. Get to Vegas now. You can enter one of those massive survivor pools. Now, that is gambling that really intrigues me.
I love the Survivor.
The only thing that keeps me away from Survivor is the thought, what if I pick the first week and I'm wrong? And then it's over.
Then you're done.
It's like you're done.
Let's do one, the three of us.
A Survivor pool?
Yeah.
All right.
$50
I guess should we start today?
Yeah, you have to.
Okay.
50
we make it part
each.
of our football threesome
Yeah,
later. That'll be
perfect.
like a little bonus to
I
the
love it.
threesome. All right, we'll have our first Ben and Woods football threesome at 9:20, plus our first, and who knows, maybe last Survivor picks. The first week is always the most terrifying week.
Yeah, you don't have to pick anything tonight.
No, but the first week, you really have just the minimum of information about which teams are going to be good, which teams are not. You can go on past trends. The Chiefs are probably going to be good, but I mean, is that a team you want to pick? Who do you go with? You don't want to burn one of your better teams on the first week. You take a chance on a team that you think is not as good against a bad opponent, but you lose that one in the first week, you're out. You're out in the first week, and then you're done, and then you don't get to have any more fun in your Survivor pool.
Oh, yeah, it sucks. You lose your money right away.
Yeah, I mean, but once have you ever been in a Survivor pool where you're in it like 8-9 weeks in?
Oh, I've been in week 12 or 13.
There is
you're
nothing
sick.
better than that. The agony then is you're like the list. All right, I've burned 9 teams already. I got to come up with someone for this week. There's only 4 people left in the pool. Who do they pick? Who did I pick? That is a fun element of gambling.
Oh, yeah, it's great.
But it's also horrible if you
How do we
miss-
set it
if
up?
you
We set it up somewhere?
lose the first week.
All right, Paul, you got it.
If it's just the 3 of us, it's not that hard.
Yeah.
All right, let's. We got some people calling in. Let's get to today's game of real or fake.
Some are here for the compelling sports talk with Ben and Woods. You can go plow through another donut. It's time for Real or Fake on 97.3 The Fan. Tell the people what they'll win today.
First, I will tell you that Real or Fake is brought to you by Home Turf. Save time or water with pet-friendly, always green grass, and get a free consultation by calling the team at Home Turf at 888-4SD-TURF or go to sdhometurf.com. You don't know if it's real or fake grass. That's why they're the perfect sponsor for this segment. And today's contestant is going to be Jason. Good morning, Jason.
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good, buddy.
Good morning, Jason. All right, you got a chance to qualify for our grand prize drawing this month, a 2-night getaway to the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. Oh, you can place plenty of football bets there. In fact, We're going to help you out with a private VIP pod at the Westgate Superbook and a $250 food and beverage credit. Experience high-action entertainment at the best race and sports book in Vegas. Plus, the Westgate featuring $70 million in new room renovations, home of legendary Vegas fun. All right, this is our easiest game of the week. All you have to do is get 4 out of 7 right on real or fake. You don't have to beat Woods. In fact, Woods can help you out on this game. You just have to separate the real from the fake. And here is your category today. September is here. Fall is just around the corner. And pumpkin spice everything is back. We all know about pumpkin spice lattes and ice creams and everything on the shelves at Trader Joe's. But the list has grown over the years. So today on Real or Fake, I will name a product. You tell me if there is a real pumpkin spice version of that product to be purchased, or if it's a fake I have thrown in to fool you.
Where you guys at on pumpkin spice?
I hate pumpkin spice things. I can
like the
do
way it
I can do
smells.
like a latte, but that's about it.
I like the way it smells.
Like pumpkin spice, like pretzels, or I'm not big on that. Jason, you understand how the game works? You ready to play?
Yeah, I'm ready to go, guys.
All right, buddy.
All right, here we go. Round 1. Real or fake? Pumpkin spice Pringles. Real or fake, Jason?
Oh my gosh, I would never eat them if they even made them. I'm going to say that those are. What do you think, Woods?
I actually think those are fake, man.
All right, I'm going to go with Woods because that's what I was going to say. They're fake.
I like the agreement, but you were both wrong.
No, disgusting.
They have made pumpkin spice Pringles, and that sounds absolutely gross. 0 for 1. We have a lot of comebacks in this game.
Yeah, we do.
All right, here we go. Round number 2. Pumpkin spice hard seltzer.
Oh, God.
Real or fake, Jason?
That's got to be fake.
That's also real.
Oh.
They will sell anything with alcohol in it in this country. All right, we are 0 for 2.
Apparently,
we need to
they'll
get
sell
going
anything
here.
with pumpkin spice.
Yeah, literally
We
anything.
need to get going here, Jason.
We're all right. We're
Round
all right.
3 of real or fake here. Let's try old pumpkin spice deodorant. Real or fake?
Old pumpkin spice.
Old parentheses
Pumpkin
pumpkin.
spice deodorant.
I'm gonna ask Woods on this one because I'm thinking maybe he'd wear it.
I would not, but I would. I do wear Old Spice, but I'm gonna roll fake on that. Let's roll it.
It's not a bad smell. What?
Yeah, I'm going with Woods. Fake.
Finally, all right, we got one.
On
That
the
is
board.
fake. That is not a real pumpkin spice product you can purchase. All right, we got
Thank
one
God.
right. Going to round number 4. Pumpkin spice dude wipes. You know what those are?
For your butt.
Yeah. Pumpkin spice dude wipes, Jason.
Yeah, those have to be fake.
Fake. Gotta be.
They make them.
No, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
Oh, my God.
It smell
What
nice
is wrong
and
with the
fall
trade?
fresh down there with pumpkin spice
Very
dude
fall
wipes.
fresh.
All right, we have come to the point of the game where your back is against the wall, Jason, and you cannot get another one wrong, or you're not going to win, unfortunately. So let's put
All
our
right,
game
let's jam.
face
Let's
on
go. Let's get nasty.
as we go to round number 5. Pumpkin spice Crest toothpaste. Real or fake, Jason?
Did you say before the game started that there was a certain number of ones? That were
No,
fake?
no, I mix it up. That's the only thing that you never know how many of each are there. Could be all 7 real, could be all 7 fake. Usually it's a mix of the two. Pumpkin spice Crest toothpaste.
Yeah, my logic has failed me in this game. I would never kiss anybody that uses pumpkin spice toothpaste, so I got to go with fake.
Yeah.
All right, you're still alive because that one is fake. All right, we got 2 more to go. Still alive. Here we go. Round number 6, Jason. Pumpkin spice Doritos. Real or fake? Pumpkin spice Doritos.
What do you think?
All I want to say is fake. I can't believe they make half this stuff. There's no way.
Jason,
There's
you need
no
to make
way.
the final call,
I say
though.
fake.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with fake because I think Ben just throwing that one in there because the Pringles one. Fake.
Correct.
Oh,
Very good.
my God.
Oh, now we
Game
once
7,
again
baby.
come to round 7.
Let's go.
Somehow it gets here about 80% of the time. All right, here we go. Round number 7. For all the marbles, pumpkin spice Pepsi. Real or fake, Jason, to qualify for the drawing for the grand prize to Las Vegas? Pumpkin spice Pepsi.
What do you think?
I'm going to say, I've said fake every time. I'm going to say real on this one.
Jason, it's up to you. You don't have to go with him.
Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go with real.
Oh, son of a! I cost him. That's my fault.
You know, and Pepsi is the tough one because they are so desperate for any marketing. They actually did make like a s'mores Pepsi. They've done other ones. But
S'mores!
They have not done pumpkin spice. And
Sorry,
I am
buddy.
sorry, Jason, but thank you for playing a very entertaining game of real or fake this morning. So close.
Oh, I'm so sorry, man.
Tough one this morning. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. We'll come back with Don't Do This here on a Thursday.
I had one, and
You've forgotten?
escaped me.
You had a Don't Do This.
I should have written it down.
And now you've lost your Don't Do This. You can't think about it anymore. We had an incident at the U.S. Open last night.
We did. I did not know that.
My Don't Do This is. In fact, I may pull up some audio for you as well during the break on that one. That is coming up next with Ben and Woods. Don't go anywhere. We'll check traffic. This segment brought to you by the Golf Mart. Back in a minute right here on 97.3 The Fan. Don't forget, you can listen to Sam Levitt's podcast, Inside San Diego Baseball. News continues, even if the playoff hopes do not. Sam covering everything going on with the Padres. You can find it at 973thefansd.com, the Odyssey app, or wherever you get your podcasts. And now, without further delay, here's Woodsy to kick us off on Don't Do This.
Yeah, TMZ reporting, Ben, this morning. There's some details on the Julio Urias situation in Los Angeles. Don't expect him to be suiting up anytime soon, Ben. The multiple sources tell TMZ Sports he was seen shoving a woman into a fence at BMO Stadium in Los Angeles. Stadium workers broke up the altercation. Then, sources say to TMZ, again, he went into the nearby car with a woman, and things got very, very heated. Cops then came, got the two out of the car, arrested him for felony domestic violence. The Dodgers have put him on paid administrative leave. That's how the union works as they gather info. The players' union is a really, really strong union, so he'll continue to get paid until this thing is resolved one way or the other. But he was going into a free agency year. I mean, my concern and thought is always with the victim, and this is the second time, if it's the same victim, and I had heard that it is, that she get far away from him, and he goes on and gets some help for himself. But I think his playing days are done, man.
Can I do a side Don't Do This? I feel like BMO Stadium is not a great name. Now, it's a bank. It's like a financial company. It used to be. That's where LAFC plays.
Weird.
I don't know. It just doesn't roll off the tongue for me. BMO. It just sounds...
It's like bowel movement.
Or BO or BM. I mean, it all just kind of brings up negative connotations.
Sure.
The MO, that's something criminals have. Just, I don't know. I don't like the name of the stadium. BMO Stadium. I wouldn't want to play there myself.
Okay.
I know that's not really that important.
It's in the grand...
It's not. All right.
Grand scheme of it.
All right. So at the U.S. Open in New York, they are experiencing, it's summer, and a lot of the country is experiencing this right now, but the heat and humidity is very intense right now in New York City. So much so that at least one player thinks that it's actually dangerous for players to be going out on the court. Daniil Medvedev, former champion, third seed, was competing in the quarterfinals yesterday, and you could say, well, maybe it's sour grapes. No, he was up 2-0 in his match and doing just fine. He ended up winning. He actually, and we have the audio here, in between points, he walked up to one of the cameras at the side of the court.
He did. This was nuts.
And basically, said, we should not be playing. Here's what he said.
Let's see what Medvedev was just talking.
One player going to die, and they're going to see.
Yeah.
God.
One player's going to die, and they're going to see. Because we're still out here, and it's like 100+, and it's sticky, and it's hot. And unfortunately, later in that same day, yesterday, it wasn't a player, but there was a medical emergency involving one of the spectators during the Madison Keys Marketa Vondrasova match that delayed it about 10 minutes as they had to bring out paramedics. And I don't know if it was heat related or not, but it is brutal, apparently, just brutally hot and sticky at this U.S. Open. They are down to the semifinals now. Could still have an All-American matchup on the women's side. You've got Madison Keys and Coco Gauff in opposing semifinals. The top three men's seeds are all still alive. You got Alcaraz, Spanish young player, hottest player in the world. Djokovic, probably the GOAT now, the second seed, and Medvedev. And then the guy who's left, the unseeded American, Ben Shelton. With the 149-mile-an-hour serve and probably the crowd behind him.
Now we're talking.
It's a pretty good storyline here for the last weekend of the U.S. Open coming up.
Very, very interesting. And it all takes place this weekend.
The last, the semifinals, and then the finals this weekend.
Yeah. Oh, killer. Okay, good. I will watch some of that this weekend for sure. Wanted to, for do this today.
DD Mega Doo-Doo.
Wanted to wish a very happy and hearty congratulations to one Mina Kimes from ESPN. We've had her on the show before. She was fantastic. You can't get her. She's almost impossible to get. Paulie was able to get her one time, and we're definitely not going to get her now. No. She just signed a huge, massive new contract to stay with ESPN, Ben. New contract will pay her a little more than $1.7 million a year, per the report. I don't know that I see someone on Twitter take more guff than Mina Kimes, and, by the way, able to give it back with a 100% kill rate every time she responds. I mean, she just bodies people.
I think this is fantastic news. I'm thrilled for her. She's great. And
but you don't like the name of the stadium,
no,
BMO.
I don't understand what ESPN's strategy
Nobody
is
really
at all.
does. It's much like the San Diego
They're
Padres.
letting go tons of good people.
Yeah.
But they're also paying other people
a ton, right?
Some are good, some I'm not as big of fans of. So many people are being let go, but they're also paying more money, and there doesn't seem to be an overriding strategy that I can really understand of what they're trying to do.
Does it feel familiar? If it feels familiar, it's probably because it's kind of how the baseball team looks sometimes. It's wild how it works.
I can't say that I hate everything they're doing.
Right.
I think Mina Kimes, I think
Fantastic.
that's a great move, but they've let other people go that I think are fantastic.
No question.
Yeah, like Neil Everett and some of their better Sports Center anchors. I'm going, What exactly are you doing?
What'd you say you
do they have money or do they not have money?
I mean, it's not. Are
you broke or are you not?
Yeah, you're so broke
Pat
that you're
McAfee,
letting everyone
here's
go.
a crap ton of money.
Yeah.
You 20 people, you got to go.
She's so good,
I would have
man.
said that Mina Kimes was much more on the chopping block than going to get $2 million.
Not me.
Like she priced them
not
out.
because I thought that.
She priced them out.
But just because I thought, well, ESPN's not going to be able to afford her, keep
Yeah.
her. They're not going to value her the right way that she should be valued, yet they do. They have valued her. Good job, ESPN. But you make no sense. Your moves make no sense right now. I don't get what they're doing.
ESPN lost one of their other NFL insiders, Diana Rossini, to The Athletic this offseason.
Yep.
But no, it's a great
Just
move.
not sure what they're doing. But okay, good for Mina. And that's Don't and Do This for Thursday.
That was Don't Do This with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan.
All right, we'll come back. If you want to talk about the Padres, we can do that. 833-288-0973. You know me. I always find some sort of good news. I'll give you my one tiny nugget of good Padres news from yesterday. It doesn't have anything to do with Padres, but it was probably the only thing that I could find positive out of
Stay tuned
yesterday's
for that.
entire day of baseball that involves the San Diego Padres. So we'll get to that coming up next with Ben Woods on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Woods ran off during our last break. He's back. He didn't hear my tease, though.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Tease, was it about BMO?
No, it was not about BMO. It was about the one positive I was going to take from yesterday for your San Diego Padres.
Try to bright side.
You cannot. There's nothing.
That's one thing I'm going to give you. You got one positive bright side. That's it. You won't guess it. There's no chance you're going to guess it.
It was a beautiful day.
It was a nice day, wasn't it?
It was a beautiful day.
I mean, I talked about the attendance record. That was positive. That's true. Padres' biggest home attendance in franchise history. But that I'm talking about something else that actually involves play on the field, the team this year, that I think was a positive from yesterday.
Was it our hot, sexy, lithe, new second baseman?
No, that was not it either. But don't read too much into that. The only reason Fernando Tatis Jr. played second base
We ran out of bodies.
is because they ran out of infielders. When Gary Sanchez got hurt, they sent in Campusano to pinch hit for Batten to try to get something going. But then when Batten was out, they had no more infielders. So had to move someone over to third. That was Kim. And they needed someone to play second, and that ended up being Tatis, who seemed happy. He said it was fun to be back there on the diamond.
I mean, that's the thing. You always want what you don't have in baseball. All position players want to pitch, right? And all pitchers want to hit. And the only thing they don't want to do is like, hey, sign me up. I want to go catch an inning or two, right? But they all want to, at the end of the year, if you're in it or out of it or blowing out somebody, they all want to try something different. And it can, if you're out of it, it's probably smarter to do than if you're in it. You don't want to risk injury of somebody playing an unfamiliar position. But we always see Tatis takes grounders at third and stuff, too. When we were there at the field not too long ago, he was down at third taking grounders before a game. I'm like, what the hell are they doing? But it's probably just him. Like, hey, give me some work.
There's very little chance, I think, we're going to see Tatis there on a regular basis.
Correct.
Anytime in the near future. Jake Cronenworth's not going away if you need him. Kim, hopefully, will
got
be
him
back.
for another year at least.
You got Bogarts. You got plenty of middle infielders. Tatis is probably not returning there anytime soon, but did get a chance to play there yesterday. This hour on Ben and Woods brought to you by the Farmer's Dog. Fresh human-grade dog food delivered right to your door. Good health starts with healthy food. That goes for dogs, too. The Farmer's Dog delivers fresh human-grade dog food right to your door, so it's easy to quit the burnt brown balls and feed your dog real food. Get 50% off your first box at thefarmersdog.com/dogdays. All right, I'll give you my positive take. And if you'd like to call us, our phone lines are open right now. 833-288-0973 to talk some Padres. Do that right after a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Premier Kia of Carlsbad. Guys, we got a traffic alert out there on the 67. This is at Poway Road. Head-on collision has got some traffic control enclosures in place, so give yourself extra time, especially if you need to take the southbound side, because that's what's taking the biggest hit from that. That, again, is the 67 at Poway Road. Also, collision on the westbound 52, right at the 15th, over the right shoulder, and Hamashaw Road, right at the northbound 125. We are getting reports of a two-vehicle accident. With a huge selection of new Kias in stock, they're sure to have the Kia of your dreams. They're right off the 5 freeway in the heart of Carlsbad. Or shop online at premierkiaofcarlsbad.com. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben and Woods, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
So my positive takeaway from an otherwise dismal Wednesday for you is that of the three somewhat serious Cy Young contenders in the National League, one of them took a really serious hit yesterday. And that was Spencer Strider, who had his shortest outing of the year for the Atlanta Braves. Just 2 2/3 innings, 6 hits, 6 earned runs, walked 3, struck out 5, and took his 5th loss of the season. He's got a great record, 16-5. He's got a ton of strikeouts, but his ERA is now 3.83. That is about 1.3 higher than both Blake Snell and Justin Steele. Despite all the other numbers, it's going to be hard, I think, for voters to ignore the fact that he's giving up a run and a half a game more than the other two major Cy Young contenders. So unless something big changes in the last few starts of the season, feels like it's now a two-person race in the National League Cy Young Award race between Blake Snell and Justin Steele of the Chicago Cubs.
If you guys had a vote for the Cy Young, what is your #1 criteria? Is it ERA? Is it strikeouts? Is it
not win-loss? That's for
ERA
sure.
is probably first.
ERA is probably up there for me.
First and foremost, that is your job to not allow runs.
Yeah.
It doesn't really matter
Yeah,
how.
that's the biggest thing. Run
And I know
prevention.
I know it shouldn't factor into it.
I will look
but
at
team
I will
success,
look at whip.
but it shouldn't factor into it.
I will look at whip. Base
Yeah.
runners allowed. That one doesn't help Blake as much
No.
because he's putting all the walks on there. But I also look at opponent batting average against, and in that respect, Blake Snell is fantastic. I mean, who's been the most unhittable guy this season in baseball? Blake Snell has a real solid argument that it's been him.
What's the strikeout difference between Strider and Snell? Is it significant?
It's
He's over
Strider's at
300.
250.
Oh, is he 250? Okay.
And Snell just went over 200 in his last start, I believe.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's not unbelievably huge, but it's for over a season. That's, a 45 difference or so. It's significant.
I think Steele is a real
the Cubs,
he's a
going to
sleeper.
the playoffs likely, and his season
Strider
is going to
leads-
give him some support.
Strikeouts, Strider leads everybody with
Yeah.
250, and then Kevin Gossman is 207, and Snell's third with 201. So it's
Okay.
a distant second and third, but he's up there.
But he's a
top
whole
three.
point ahead higher in ERA.
Yeah, I think Justin Steele is the pitcher to worry about the most. And it's not necessarily because he's better than Blake Snell, but his team is having a better season. He's going to be pitching in more meaningful games down the stretch with more eyeballs on them, and that can cut both ways. If he has a bad start in a playoff, push, that could be held more against him. Now, tomorrow's start for Blake Snell is going to be critical, going up against the hottest team in baseball. If he shoves against the Astros, people are going to notice that. If that hot, lineup that just decimated the Texas Rangers the last 3 days can only put up, a run against Blake Snell in 6 innings, people will notice that and go, okay. And Padres may not be legit, but Blake Snell is going to be absolutely legit. But you're also going up against a really hot lineup that can do some damage, and you could have a Spencer Strider-like start for Blake Snell, and that could make Justin Steele the new overwhelming favorite if he doesn't have a good start tomorrow. So it's going to be interesting. Minute Maid Park tomorrow night, what Blake Snell can do against these Houston Astros.
I am trying with every fiber of my being to care about it. I'm trying. I'm begging myself, and I'm questioning myself. I want to care about it, and I can't wait to watch the game tomorrow. It's on Apple TV, so it's going to be great. And I can't wait to see how he fares against this lineup. But I think the prospect of him leaving, as I mentioned yesterday, the prospect of him leaving, of course, winning a Cy Young on a really bad team this year, it sticks in my craw. Nothing against him; he's done great. This is not a Blake Snell thing.
Yeah,
this is a me thing.
Let's go out to the phones. 833-288-0973. We got Michael. Mike, you're on with Ben and Woods on 97.3 The Fan. Good morning.
Hey guys,
Hey,
happy Thirsty Thursday.
Oh yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, that real or fake on pumpkin spice Pepsi. I said it was fake because I shelf scan all the time on sodas. And I've
nice.
never seen that.
Never
for
seen that
5
one. Yeah,
years.
you would have gotten that one correct.
That's my first point. The second point is Garrett Cooper, I think, was the bright spot yesterday for getting an RBI hit.
Yeah, knocking
break
in a
the
run.
shutout.
Yep, he's been pretty good, man. He's been pretty good since he got here.
Yeah, I'm really happy for that dude. And you talked about how they have so many shutout victories, but I was thinking before that hit he got to get the RBI in, they might have almost as many shutout losses.
Yeah.
So I was pretty relieved about that.
You know what avoiding a shutout gets you? That and like $2.50 gets you a Pepsi out of the vending machine nowadays.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because avoiding a shutout
Small
does
victories,
nothing. Does
Benjamin.
nothing. No, it does nothing.
Well, winning a Cy Young does nothing either.
That's at
not
least
true.
history.
Yeah, it is. If they're walking in free agency, it does nothing for you.
That's not true.
That's not true. That is
plaque-
not
that
true
plaque
at all.
Will be
That-
in the Padres Hall of Fame forever.
You
It's
think
happened- it's only happened
You
twice.
think Randy Jones cares about winning that Cy Young?
Yeah,
It changed his life.
I get it.
Nobody's milked an award more.
RJ, we love you.
He stayed here,
He's my
didn't
favorite
he?
human being on the planet.
No, he went
did
to the
he leave?
Mets.
Oh, all right. Right after? The year after
No,
he
I
won
think
it?
he had 2 years
there
after.
You go.
2 years after.
It's just,
but-
it sucks. Like, I
It's a big deal.
guess. Why aren't I excited about it?
It's one of the
It's
biggies.
the record.
It's MVP.
It's the
Cy
it's the
Young.
team's
I mean,
record.
It's the two biggies.
I think it's more than fair if you want to take the side of him winning the Cy Young
So Tony Gwynn's batting
prices-
titles were meaningless to you. 8 batting titles means nothing at all.
No, that's
He
a
was
big
our-
deal.
he was
That's a
San
big
Diego.
deal.
Yeah, where did he go? Stayed here, didn't he? Did he take discounts to stay? Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right, he did. Did he turn down trades to contenders to stay? Sure did.
Are we comparing Blake Snell to Tony Gwynn right
Right.
now?
You can be
If
excited
you,
about
I
it.
think if you take the side of, well, him losing the side actually puts the Padres in a better position to re-sign him, okay, fine.
but that's not it.
But it's a big deal.
He's going to get his
second
money.
Cy Young award. Doesn't that put Blake Snell into a Hall of Fame conversation at some point?
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, how many multiple Cy Young Award winners are not in the Hall of Fame? I wonder. That'd be an interesting stat to look up.
I want to win games. That's what I want. I want to win. I want to go to the playoffs, and it's why I'm.
It ain't happening this
Who
year.
are the guys
I know.
who've won
So
it
you
in both leagues? It's like Pedro, Randy Johnson, Roy Halladay.
Yep.
I mean, Hall of Famers
awesome
one and all.
for him and the Mariners who will sign him in the offseason. It's great. It's great. If he comes back, can I say this? If he comes back, I'll get excited.
Why do you
about it.
think he's definitely not coming back? There's definitely, I think there's. What would you put the odds on Blake Snell coming back?
15%.
15?
to
Wow,
20.
I had it more like 50-50.
I was going to say 50.
Yeah, I think it's more like 50-50.
Who's his agent?
Scott Boras.
20%. 20%.
Who has the best relationship with Scott Boras
We
in
do.
baseball?
Yeah, we
Padres
do.
do.
But at some point, don't you go, all right, enough's enough. You've gotten all of yours. Blake can get paid. You know, there's teams out there.
That's why I'm leaving a big old 50% out there for him leaving as well.
Yeah, that's true. 50% is a big.
Yeah.
It's a big number.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, I do think he wants to stay. I do, but not enough to leave money on the table. And
Remember, other teams have to deal with Scott Boras too.
Sure.
And that's going to be tough for them.
Inhaling the copium, I think, in this argument, but Snell in particular, he's the weird one where I think if anybody would take not significantly
It's
less,
not him though. It's not him. He doesn't.
The job of his agent is to do whatever he wants.
Not really.
Yes, it is.
He also has to set the market. A Cy Young winner doesn't say, "I'll leave 50."
Padres aren't going to sign him for $10 million a year.
I'll leave 50 on the table to stay here. It's not going to happen. Scott Boras won't let it happen, and frankly, the other players probably wouldn't be happy about it.
I'm talking a 25 a year versus 30 to 35 a year.
Who's leaving $60 million on the table?
I-
Nobody.
I think Blake Snell's the one guy that's like, I'm comfortable. I love it. I don't want to move.
Is there any
again.
team that's going to be really comfortable giving Blake Snell $35 million a year for 6 innings at a time? As good as those 6 innings are, though, I'd be.
That's also kind of the direction the game's going, though.
I'd be hesitant as a GM or an owner to give that kind of money to a pitcher that you can't even count on for 200 innings. I mean, and I get that's where the game's going. I'm not saying he's worth nothing. He's worth a lot on a free agent market right now. But there's got to be a cap to this for pitchers, what you're willing to pay.
There's got to be a cap to what the San Diego Padres are willing to spend for guys in their 30s to long-term contracts.
That's true, too.
There has to be at some point.
You say that.
And again, that's not his fault. It's not his fault they sign guys to long-term deals and for a lot of money and probably hamstrung themselves a little bit. It's not Blake Snell's fault. He should get every nickel he's entitled to. But I'm just having a hard time getting fired up about a Cy Young, impending free agent in a season we're not making the playoffs. It's just tough.
Speaking of smoking the copium, as Paulie just mentioned, I will point out to all the Padres fans who are extremely disappointed right now, with every right to be disappointed. What a disappointing season. Even if I could wave a magic wand right now and give the Padres a winning record, let's say they're tied with the Phillies, they're cruising to a wild card, but everything else remains the same. Gary Sanchez is out for the season. Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish are pretty unlikely to be coming back at this point. Jake Cronenworth is out for the season. Even if the Padres were a playoff team right now, they'd be in pretty bad shape going into the postseason. Wouldn't they?
Well,
wouldn't they? I mean, even if they had done everything right this year, but you can't avoid injuries.
Good point. Yeah,
they wouldn't be in good shape right now.
No, you'd be going into October right now. I mean, Yu Darvish is massive question mark. Joe Musgrove's
he'd be
a question
a
mark.
4 and a huge question mark. You'd be riding Snell, Waka, and Lugo.
Waka, and Lugo,
and I love what I've seen from Avila.
Yeah,
and
sure.
As much as I've enjoyed Waka, we saw him yesterday against a legit playoff lineup, and it wasn't terrible, but it wasn't. He's not going to be a guy who goes out and dominates the Braves or the Phillies lineup. He's not going to shove an 8-inning shutout postseason performance. At least I don't think so. Not the way that Joe could when he's on his game. Not the way you could when he was on his game. Blake can do it when he's hot. We've seen him in the postseason. He can. You got a 1. You got Lugo. At some point, that arm, you wonder, is it going to tire out a little bit? I mean, he's already double his, last season's inning total and well over his career total. You're going to be, leaning on him as your number 3. And then you got no number 4, bullpen day, Avila, whatever, if you go into a 7-game series. I mean, the Padres would be in pretty desperate shape, even if they were in playoff position right now.
Still makes me feel bad. I mean, it doesn't make me feel
yeah,
any
I'd
better.
rather have that than the alternative, sure.
Because then there's built-in excuses for us. There's no excuse for the way this team's played this year. There's no logic behind
like
the way
I
this
said,
team's
I just
played.
a little tokacopium right there.
Just
at the end of the season. Like, what are we really missing out on? Because with these injuries, it doesn't look like it would be that pretty for the Padres in October.
That's true. That's fair.
This year.
That's fair.
And that's something you really can't control. That is the luck that goes into every baseball team season at the end of the year. Braves crossing their fingers right now.
Oh, when Snitker makes out that lineup every day and pencils in Acuna and Riley and Olsen and all those guys, when he throws Strider out on the bump, it cannot be a fun night for him. It just can't.
The Marlins just won their 6th in a row. They took over the final wild card spot. You'd think, perfect, everything's great in their land. Soler and Alcantara both on the injured list.
On the IL, yep.
I mean, maybe they can overcome that. Maybe they can't. But, luck and injuries always plays a factor in September and October in baseball.
Well, yeah, it's different, I think, when you're a team like the Marlins and you're like, no one expected you to be there, especially in that division. You're like, hey, man, this is all gravy right now. Let's just keep rolling, see what we can do, all hands on deck. When you're the Braves and you're expected to roll, and when you're, teams like that have stacked a bunch of wins together, man, that's tough. It's got to be a not fun experience if you're the manager putting those guys out there every day.
All guests on Bennett Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad fan hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. Our featured Thursday guest, Sarris from The Athletic, will join us for his weekly Smart Baseball segment coming up in our next hour. That's at 8:35. We still have a Rindle report and the debut of the Bennett Woods football threesome coming up later on the second half of Bennett Woods. All ahead next on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. We'll be right back.
All right, my friends, we are halfway home on a Thursday, September 7th, 2023. Ben and Woods, 97.3. The Fan, thank you so much for being here. Couldn't do what we do and enjoy the success that this show has had, this radio station's had.
Maybe reiterate the success that we've had, because we mentioned it earlier in the program.
Yeah, it was great. Got a call yesterday from Adam and when I was at the Padres game, and he just said, hey, man, you guys are number one in the mornings in the key demo, Men 2554, of kind of what we shoot for, and gotten close many times, and, it's pretty surreal to get that phone call yesterday. So congratulations to you two fellas. Certainly, what a team! What a team we have put together. And thank you, of course, to Adam and Michael and everyone here, and most importantly, thank you to the audience. You're nothing in this business without your audience. Literally nothing. You're just talking into the thin air without an audience. You're just talking to yourself without anyone listening, and wearing the Ben and Wood. Actually, thanks to that guy as well, because without him, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have been at the last place.
Yeah,
so.
if you don't have an audience, you actually should probably see a psychiatrist, because you're
just talking into
yourself.
Into the ethers.
Old man screaming at the clouds.
Yeah, but so obviously couldn't do it without you guys, first and foremost, and. Just what a ride. What a ride it's been. It's such a short ride, too, but just what a ride it's been.
You texted us yesterday the good news, and I was like borderline emotional. Like, that's insane.
It's insane.
It's crazy what has happened.
It's insane.
I don't understand it.
The journey is one that has been, there's been a lot of speed bumps along the way, certainly COVID hitting you, and being able to maintain an audience and keep you guys here during that was, I still can't believe it happened. It was just wild. So thank you from the bottom of all of our black, cold hearts. You guys are the best audience in radio, and you continue to show it month after month. Now it's you get to the top and you're like, oh, this is cool. Now, how do you stay there? How do you stay there? And in my mind, it's things like we're about to do next. You don't even know about this yet, Benjamin, but I woke up this morning, and my process when I wake up is to just kind of, think about it. I want to think about the day, think about the upcoming show, set my intentions, things that I try to organize things in my mind. My mind, as you know, goes a bunch of different places. Try to organize things in my mind. And as I was trying to organize the stories of the day from the day before in my head, before I got up and hit the shower, I couldn't stop laughing at Boomer Esiason and his laugh from yesterday that you so astutely heard and pointed out. And I was laughing about it all day long. And then it was the first thing I thought of when I woke up again this morning. And I thought of all of
If you missed it, that was Sports Minute update during a commercial break at about 8:30 yesterday morning. Commercial break, we kind of tune out. We're talking during the breaks, and Ben happened to catch that. We went and pulled it back.
It's just incongruous. It's the laugh of a horse-throated football player. I mean, it's not what you expect from Boomer Esiason.
He's talking about all these different NFL teams, and then he was, I think he said, and the Arizona Cardinals, because they're a joke.
I couldn't stop thinking about it all day. And
it's my version of,
when you chortle.
That's my version.
Yeah,
that was Boomer's version.
I've got 3 Ben laughs. I've got evil laugh is what we call it.
Oh, that's good.
I've got just laughing.
I think that.
I love that one.
And my favorite is the chortle.
The chortle.
I think this was Boomer's version of my first one.
Correct.
Kind of the evil
laugh.
Yeah, that was
But I woke up with it in my head, and then I thought about the laugh that we have, that Paulie has for Coach. And I thought about Boomer and Coach sparring with their laughs in a ring with microphones, and I couldn't stop laughing this morning as I got up, and it made me very excited to come to work. Just back and forth.
It almost makes me. We need to create a laugh bracket now.
Yeah, the laugh bracket.
I've got
the back and forth though of one the other, one the other. One.
Do we have the context of coaches?
I don't.
Laugh. Do we remember what he
been a long
was
time. I
chuckling at?
I really don't. But it gets me every single
We got
time.
Fernando laughing.
Yeah?
We've got Bo laughing.
Crazy. It decimated me this morning as I was getting out of bed. And that's what I wanted to share with you guys. So thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us here at the Laugh Factory.
Damn, how'd you guys get to number one?
That's it right there. Thank you. Thank you, Boomer. It's just the tickling. It sounds like he's being tickled as he's trying to read his thing, and I couldn't get it out of my head all day.
I picture him like in his studio. He's got his script right in front of him. And it's like one of his producers is like sitting there like taking off his shirt like an Anchorman.
He's doing the heli in front of him. Like, I just was dying.
Anchorman where Paul Rudd's sitting there in his underwear
dancing.
And she's just locked in on the teleprompter.
I was just dying laughing yesterday. So
hopefully we're together for a very long time. We got our new 3-year deal, and I'd like to grow old together, but I also fear growing old.
Oh, I'm terrified.
I don't want to be the guy who can't evolve, as the future evolves. And I was proud of myself in our last segment when I said, that and $2.50 will get you a Pepsi out of the vending machine.
Yeah.
What do you remember when you were a kid?
50 cents.
Vending machine for a soda.
50 cents.
Like 50 cents?
Straight up. You get 2 for $1.
Yeah.
Yeah, 50 cents.
Yeah.
I remember when it went up to $1, I was like, $1? Holy crap.
So I went to check during the break because
Yeah.
I wanted to know. So what is it? Because I was just estimating. What does it really cost to get a soda? Because we have a Pepsi vending machine in our kitchen. I've never used it once in my life. And when I got there, I realized we have the saddest vending machine.
I've said this before.
Oh, yeah.
In history.
It's horrific.
First of all, it doesn't actually have all the names are written on in like Sharpie.
On like a piece of
paper.
masking
Yeah.
tape.
It's wild.
And the only actual soda is a Diet Pepsi.
Diet Pepsi. You can't get regular Pepsi.
Everything else is something weird. There's like a
Tivana.
There's a lemon sparkling water. There's like a lemon Tivana. There's a red Gatorade, which is a weird thing to have. That's actually probably the best option in there. There's a Monster Energy drink.
Yeah, and a Dasani water, I think.
It's got to be the worst vending machine I've ever seen. I've never noticed this before.
I've done this bit.
It's a horrible vending machine.
It's not great. It's not. But again, I'm glad because sodas are like my.
But Diet Pepsi's only $1.25, so I guess I overestimated the cost.
That's true. I wouldn't drink it if you had a gun in my head, though. That's the one. I'm like, good. I'll just drink water.
I'm not a Pepsi
Pumpkin
or Diet
spice
Pepsi.
Diet Pepsi anyone?
It's so gross.
I much prefer Diet Coke over Coca-Cola, but I would drink a Coca-Cola. I won't do any of the Pepsi.
I'll
Pepsi
do
or
one if
Diet
in a
Pepsi.
pinch.
No, if they're like, oh, sorry, we don't have Coke products, we just have Diet Pepsi. Is that okay?
I'm like, Paul, never mind.
No.
I can't do this fake Sprite. I can't do this fake
Starry.
Sprite that they're running out there. It's just not. They had that. They had Sierra Mist. It's not the same. It's not even close to the same. I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, Starry. It's not the same. My wife tried to sneak that by me one day. It's the same thing. It's not.
We used to
not even close. It's not as crisp.
We used to buy Slice.
Slice was delicious. Delicious. All flavors. All flavors.
Funniest things that made me laugh so hard years ago when I saw it was, waiter, actually, sorry, we only have Diet Pepsi. Is that okay? Actually, I've only got Monopoly money. Is that okay?
Does that work for you?
Like, no.
It's incredible. Incredible, man.
Pepsi's not a sponsor. Right?
Yeah,
I hope not.
I don't think so.
We love Pepsi. Why? Pepsi. Simply the greatest. All right. Thank you, guys. You guys rule.
Yeah, we appreciate it.
We got
Absolutely.
Eno coming up at 8:35. Needs a couple extra minutes, I think.
Yeah,
to
we
get,
got some giveaways as well. We're going to give away another pair of passes to that Del Mar Food and Wine Festival. But coming up in our 9 o'clock hour, this could be a money saver for a football fan. We have 2 tickets to San Diego State UCLA football on Saturday at Snapdragon Stadium. And if you've looked at what the prices are for that game. That's you can $200-$300 to get in for a ticket. Whether that's Aztecs fans, UCLA fans, or just fact that it's a nationally televised, probably the biggest game of the season, obviously for San Diego State in terms of non-conference. The prices are pretty high, so this is a nice giveaway, and you'll have an opportunity to win a couple of tickets to Aztecs Bruins coming up in our 9 o'clock hour. Probably do it with our new football threesome segment as well.
It's a good
in
idea.
Our 920 segment.
Good idea.
Yeah, stay tuned for your chance to win some tickets giveaways here in the second half of the show.
I want to talk with Sarris about one Padres player in particular. I tweeted the other day. It was one of the first plays of the game. Trent Grisham came in on a ball bend, made a spectacular play, as he typically does. Yesterday, it's funny, the play in the first inning, I can't remember who hit it. Was it Harper? Was it the double? He didn't look like he got it. Or was it Bohm? He did not look like he got a good read on it, and you usually see him track that ball. Do you know which play I'm talking about? It kind of...
Yeah. It's a ground rule double, right? It was one
but he
just didn't get there.
He just didn't get there in time, and I'm kind of so used to him making that play, and I tweeted something about... he's almost automatic out there. And for a pitcher, that's kind of your dream. Your center fielder, and it's a big center field at Petco Park. He covers a lot of ground. Man, I didn't get killed, but people were like, well, yeah, he's an automatic out at the plate. He's almost, the automatic strikeout, this, that, the other. And I started thinking, and I found myself defending Trent Grisham a little bit. And I know it's probably a lonely island to be on, but it got me thinking about something yesterday. I wanted to ask you guys this question. When you look at his counting stats, they're not good. They're not good. He's a 200 hitter, few RBIs. He's a 9-hole hitter, few RBIs. He's got, 12 home runs. He's got 20-some-odd doubles, 27 doubles, something like that this season. But when you look at the deeper numbers, when you look at like his StatCast page, you do see a really good barrel rate. So when he hits it, usually he hits it hard, barrels the baseball, doesn't chase a lot of pitches. His walk rate's good. Now, he strikes out a ton because he stares at a lot of strike threes.
It's certainly an eyeball thing.
It is.
But he works counts. He sees a lot of pitches.
It feels like so many of those extra base hits, doubles or home runs, all come in like the ninth inning when we're down 6-2.
And I don't know the where he stands on clutch. Nobody on this team's good. Manny Machado 100%. Makes $30 million a year.
I do know that when the playoffs came around last year, he was very, 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 very clutch
Until
and
he
very
wasn't.
key for the first couple of series. But the fact that Trent Grisham, I know he has that in him. I know that even in a giant game, he has it in him to hit a couple of home runs in a big spot.
He's pretty steely. You know what I mean? He's not too big for him.
You know you're getting great defense in center field, and you know you're getting some walks. Yeah, he's not the greatest offensive player in the world, but that player has value.
That begs the question, though. So I had a couple guys say, and I know Coach and Braden did like a whole thing. They went back and looked at, I think this was a few weeks ago, and correct me if I'm wrong, but they did a segment where they basically said they looked at every World Series winning team and they looked at the center fielder. And no team has ever won a World Series with a 200 hitting center fielder. You think about some of the center fielders in history. Now, that position...
That shocks me because
right because
you feel the prototypical old school baseball team is defensive first center fielder who probably does hit around 215 or something.
I mean, Trent Grisham's not even hitting 215, but you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. But it begs the question: with raw tools like that, should any of the onus be put on the San Diego Padres for not making him better? Or when you get to the big leagues, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you took Trent Grisham and you moved him up the road to L.A., would they turn him into a better hitting center fielder? If you took him and put him in Houston, would he be a better hitting center? Would he be a more complete player than he is here in San Diego? And how much of that is on the Padres? How much of that is on Trent Grisham? There are things that these players can do.
I lean more towards
the player.
This is just who he is. We've seen it for 4 years now. Nothing's really changed. He's always been
since he came.
There's certainly evidence
since he came here.
I mean, Tommy Pham was
like 60 games in Milwaukee.
Tommy Pham was a really good hitter before he got here, and then here he was awful.
He also got stabbed, but yeah.
And then he left, and now he's a really good hitter again. It's concerning to say the least that the Padres aren't maximizing at least their offensive talent from certain players, as well as other organizations are getting the most out of their offensive talent.
Look at what...
It's one of the many things that I would like to see a comprehensive review in the offseason by the Padres organization.
Yeah, you do wonder. You do wonder what could be done to make him better. Because, again, it's not... When you look at a barrel rate like he has, a guy that has the ability to absolutely barrel, and
Jose
the guy that doesn't,
has limitations offensively.
that he doesn't chase. You know what I mean? He doesn't chase. He has a decent command of the zone. Can't we make that guy into a better hitter? Isn't that our responsibility as an organization to make him into a better player? That's my only question.
I'm just thinking of other players that have come and gone. I mean, Eric Hosmer did not have the defensive prowess like what Grisham has, but, he came here, he didn't do anything, and then he didn't do anything when he left either.
Right.
So no other team made him better. Austin Hedges,
But he was
still
good
looking
in
for a
Kansas
job,
City.
right?
He was good in Kansas City. Hosmer was. It was really good.
Yeah, but, I mean, he went to the Cubs, the Red Sox, like, those are good teams, right? Like, good organizations.
I mean,
better organizations.
Yeah, but I mean, and again, it's does it fall on the player? Because we've heard about Eric Hosmer's work.
I think Austin Hedges is the comp. Defensive-minded player that can't hit offensively when they're here.
I'd say good rule of thumb: 75% of it falls on the player, 25% on the team for maximizing the player's talent and getting the most out of that player.
Trent Grisham. You have one man to choose to get a knock. Is it Grisham or is it Hedges? I think we all know the answer. It's an unequivocal 100% Trent Grisham. Everybody takes Trent Grisham. Everybody. You can hate Trent Grisham. You're taking him over Austin Hedges. The defensive catching is, while it's very important, the fact that you're strong up the middle with a Trent Grisham out there that can track any single ball. He can come in, he can go back.
You're kind of asking a question that we can't really ever get an answer to.
I'm not ready to give up on him yet. And I know because he's still 26. He's controllable. He's cheap.
Yeah, but he's also had every opportunity.
Well, he won a Gold Glove. Like, he's doing part of the job. Let's make him better at the other part of the job. You know what I mean? Like, develop him. Look
he's a two-WAR player this year.
Right, he's a two-WAR player. That's good.
That's not. I mean,
that's
it's not an all-star, but
all-star's what, 5'6"?
He's a certainly has value. He's a two-WAR player right now, even with those numbers.
That's what I'm saying. Imagine giving him.
What's his contract?
It's nothing.
He's got one more ARB year left.
One more ARB year at $3 million.
Whatever the little raise.
I thought I saw free agent in 26. Yeah, he reaches free agency in 26.
Yep.
But
25. He's got one more controllable year.
ARB next year.
Yeah, and then he's a free agent after next year.
I just can't. I'm having such a hard time. I see it every day. DFA him, and I'm like, I don't agree.
No.
You
don't DFA him.
I must see a different player.
I think if you can,
if someone's interested in a trade,
sure.
Yeah, I mean, he's not untouchable. You don't just give up a player like Trent Grisham with a two-WAR player.
But if some team thinks, we can fix him.
If you had an entire lineup of two-WAR players, you may not win a World Series, but you're a decent team.
Sure.
If everybody in your lineup is producing at least at that level, you've got a decent team there. Trent Grisham is not a bad baseball player.
No, and he's certainly not the reason why this team hasn't done what they're supposed to do this year. But
good point.
Yeah, it got me thinking about it. It was good discussion. Nobody was a jerk. It was all like good, healthy discussion yesterday for maybe the first time ever on Twitter, but I enjoyed it. So those of you that weighed in, great. It was a good debate, and I'm just I really love the guy playing center field. I do.
Got a feeling we may see an old friend tomorrow. We'll get to that coming up. We're going to take a quick timeout, check traffic, and then back with more of Ben and Woods right around the corner here on San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan. Want to stay connected with Ben and Woods all week long? Just give us a follow in the Odyssey app for easy access to clips, show reminders, and more. Simply download the Odyssey app, follow Ben and Woods, and listen to us no matter where you are. We got football for you tonight. Chiefs, Lions, game 1 of the season. What was the point spread on that game?
4.5.
4.5?
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah. It's a trap, man. But you got me.
I mentioned it earlier. We got our new Survivor pool. Is that game on your radar?
You could take the Chiefs tonight. No,
Adam's.
I'd be too nervous to make it my first
Adam
pick.
asked, "Are we inviting listeners?" I'm like, "We could, but I don't have to." Then we have to chase them down for money and stuff.
I don't want to lose my Survivor pool on the very first game of the season, so I'm just going to stay away from that one.
Well, I'm going to stay away from what one? Tonight's game?
I at least want to make it to Sunday of the first week in my Survivor pick.
I went with the no-brainer.
There's no no-brainers.
Yeah,
There's a no-brainer.
We'll talk about it later. Oh,
yeah. There's 2 or 3
two at least.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't. I had 3 that I was choosing from, but I didn't think any of them were
at least 2
no-brainers.
No-brainers.
I'm nervous about anything that's out there. I would think that there's a good chance we will see an old friend tomorrow in Houston with the Gary
Jeff
Sanchez headed to the injured. Well, we will see. We should get Jeff Blum on.
I would love to talk to Blummer.
Haven't talked to Blummer in a while. We could get him do a cameo for us again.
He's already done one.
No, I mean with Gary Sanchez going on to the injured list, Padres don't have any other catchers to call up. They already have Brett Sullivan up with the big team. Jurickson Profar has hit home runs the last 2 days at AAA El Paso. I mean, they must have signed him for a reason.
He's ready.
I would assume there's a good chance that the promotion will come for Jurickson, and we will see him back
in a Padres
uniform tomorrow night in Houston. That would just be my guess. I mean, they need someone with versatility.
Yeah, he's got
he
it.
He can play the outfield, but in a pinch, you could throw him in the infield.
He can play first.
If you had to.
Yeah. Played first in a friggin' no-hitter, so he can do it.
You know what's limiting the Padres right now is Manny Machado's tennis elbow.
Correct.
Because you want to keep him in the lineup, but he has to DH every day, which means
can't get anybody else off their feet.
You have to put you can't get Soto or Tatis off their feet in the outfield, and you have to put Batten or someone into the lineup at third base or move Kim. You know, I thought it was interesting. I heard Bob Melvin mention it, and I hadn't really thought about it. Because sometimes Kim is at third and Batten is at second, and sometimes Batten is at second and Kim is in third. And I'm going, why aren't they just doing it consistently? And so when the Padres have a lefty on the mound, which means the other team has a lot of righties in the lineup, they put Kim at third because he's their best defensive player. They figure he'll get the hot shots over at third. When the Padres have a righty on the mound and there's presumably a bunch of lefties in the lineup for the opponent, they put Kim at second because you figure you get more plays at second base. And I thought, all right, so for everybody who thought Padres don't have a plan for anything.
Man, that's Little League,
That's
though.
smart, though.
Everybody knows that.
Well, you don't usually move position guys around in the
If
infield
they're
like
versatile enough, you do.
You don't see that very often.
When you have 7 shortstops, you kind of have to.
And you can't. It gives you that ability to do that.
Am I giving him too much credit for an obvious?
Yes.
I didn't realize what was going on.
Yeah, that's pretty standard. You want your best glove
on the pull side.
For the pull side. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
It's just in the big leagues, you don't have that many guys who switch between the right and left side of the infield.
Those utility Batten types. I mean, what's he played for us now? Four positions already. Played some outfield.
First, second, third, and outfield.
Yeah, that's 4 positions. Ha-Seong Kim's played 1, 2, 3 positions. We have some pretty versatile guys. And that you just want to make sure your best glove is.
Jake has played first, second, and maybe even short for
an inning or two
this season.
Yep. Yeah, we got some versatile players. Xander, though, just a fixture at shortstop.
Yep. Yeah. Soto doesn't move from left.
Nope.
Tatis has gone to center a couple of times.
And now second.
Grisham's always in center.
Always in center. Yep.
But yeah,
pretty versatile.
Hasn't really helped much.
Hasn't really worked. We got excited about the versatility at the beginning of the year, but
maybe just get guys that play a position.
Just get guys that can hit with runners in scoring position.
That too.
Yep. All right, give something away, Ben.
You like food out there?
Yes.
You like wine out there? You like food and wine together? Wine and
you like
food?
sandwiches out there?
Maybe there are little sandwiches.
I'm sure you can get a sandwich
Tiny
somewhere.
Sandwiches. We've got the Del Mar Wine and Food Festival happening this weekend at Surf Sports Park, featuring wine and food tastings, appearances by Alex Morgan, Drew Brees, Rob Machado, and more. Tickets are on sale now at delmar.wine. But if you'd like to win a pair to a nice fancy swanky event in Del Mar, Be the fourth caller right now at 833-288-0973. We will give away 2 tickets to the Del Mar Wine and Food Festival. 833-288-0973. Something to do this weekend. Free food, free wine. Why not? Again, delmar.wine is the website to get your own. We will be back with our friend Eno Sarris, our Smart Baseball segment with the athletics guru, coming up next on San Diego's #1 sports station, San Diego's #1 morning show.
Thank you, buddy.
97.3 The Fan.
Did it.
Congratulations to Dan. Won the Del Mar Food and Wine Festival tickets for this weekend.
Congrats, Dan.
Congrats, Dan.
You
Thank you very
were
much.
looking at me for a color there. Well done, Dan.
Well done. Yes.
Attaboy, Dan.
You successfully dialed 9 digits, 10 digits, and Paulie picked up the phone and gave you the prize.
Well done.
So have another opportunity to win in our next hour. We got some Aztecs UCLA football tickets this weekend, and we got a premiere of our football threesome segment coming up at 9:20, including our first Survivor pick selections.
A threesome would be fun.
Paulie just told me there's an obvious pick, and I can't.
There's two. I would say there's two.
Yeah.
I can't see it. I mean, I
This
certainly.
is gonna be so fun.
Thanks for the money.
He's going to just be pouring over this every week.
He's done week 1, right?
They're going to be like, Ben, you have a hit on Channel 10 right now. And he's like, I'm vacillating here between these two teams. It's
All
going to
week long,
spin him
I'm
out.
gonna be-
I love this.
Well, unless I lose in the first week, and then I won't be worried about it at all.
What great
anymore.
content that would be. What great content that would be.
I mean, there are people who lose in the first week of
100%.
Survivor. They
100%.
overthink it.
Yep. Like yourself
Take
right
the-
now, as you're like, you can't even focus on your radio
Taking the
program.
Indianapolis Colts first week
Yeah.
of Survivor. Well, then I'll have save all my good teams for later in the
That's
year.
right.
It's tough. I don't
He's
get it.
done already. He's just
I love
into the atmosphere.
Oh, this
He's
is
gone.
great.
We're not there yet, though. We got Sarris coming up here. He's going to join us for our weekly Smart Baseball segment. First, though, let's check traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by the all-new Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad. Well, guys, some good news out there on the 67. They have cleared up that accident at Poway Road. Unfortunately, we're seeing a lot of residual slowing on the southbound side. Northbound side, not so bad. But, yeah, give yourself extra time if you need to travel South 67 toward Poway Road. Other than that, things are looking pretty good. We do have this one problem northbound side of the 805 right before Imperial. A collision does not appear to be blocking any lanes. Brought to you by Premier Cadillac of Carlsbad with brand new 2023 Cadillac XT4s and XT5s in stock now. Stop in or shop online at CadillacCarlsbad.com, a proud member of the Premier Carlsbad family of dealers. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
See, now that was my favorite produced segment of the week, but I think it's going to now be replaced.
I think I blew that one out of the water.
That one was great.
By our new one next hour in our football threesome. So we'll see if Eno Harris, Sarris drops to number 2 in our power rankings. Good morning, Eno.
Another one next year.
We
Do
will.
another one next year then.
Yeah, we will, my friend. We will. How are you, buddy?
Doing great. How about you guys?
We're hanging in, man. I cannot get over I have the worst case of blues for this team being, a 1% chance or a 0.5% chance to make the playoffs. I'm finding it even hard to get excited about Blake Snell winning a Cy Young. I mean, I just can't get over this no playoff blues that I'm suffering from. It's just killing me. Now, I know when the playoffs start, I'll be massively engaged because it's the best. I love playoff baseball, but, man, I'm having a hard time reconciling this season so far.
Yeah, it's tough, and it is interesting to kind of look at the individual, performances and be like, dude, how did this happen?
Yes, yes. It begs an interesting question, though, because we had Jesse Agler on. I know you know Jesse. And he said, man, if I was the GM, he said, when this season ended, I don't know that I'd go back and do this big, gnarly, deep dive into what went wrong. I would kind of put my eyes on the future. And I typically agree with Jesse. I kind of disagreed on this one. I feel like an autopsy needs to be done on the entire team. That's the best way I can put it, an autopsy.
Well, I mean, to me, the thing that is disappointing is just that I think some of the issues that we've identified over the last 3 years are still there, and so a deep dive almost seems like redundant at this point. It's like, you think about, if there were some issues, that could have saved them this year. I think, starting pitching depth. If they've just been able to, move in some interesting, just imagine a Bobby Miller from the Dodgers.
Right.
I hate to bring up the Dodgers, but imagine if you just had even just one guy who threw 100 with 4 pitches, and you were like, yeah, Yu Darvish went down, but check out this guy we've got, I think that is sort of where I point. And I can actually point to some improvement, I think, in the player development process, because one of the things I look at for player development is how good are your relievers? And that might sound weird, but player development is often not making superstars. It's like making someone just a half grade better, just a little bit better. And if you are good at player development, you should turn out some relievers. So I think it may sound weird, but Tom Cosgrove, Ray Kerr, those guys, those tell me that something is getting better. You were able to turn out 2 relievers that were important in the bullpen, and that kept the bullpen good when people went down. So that part, there is something improving under the hood, but it hasn't gotten to the point where they're like, hey, we have 3 young starters in the minor leagues that are ready to go. So we go 3 deep. And this is going to be really important for next year, because when the bell rings next year, if it run right now, they would have Joe Musgrove and Yu Darvish at the top of the rotation, both coming off of injury.
Yep.
And nobody else, although my son, who is now a Padres fan, my 11-year-old son, he said, but Dad, they have Pedro Avila.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
They have Pedro Avila, who I would love to slot in as my number 6 starter, but if I had to, number 5 is okay. That still leaves 3 or 4 starters, 3 starters that you want to get in the off season, and then you're also losing your closer. So even what Jesse Agler is saying about just focus on next year, it's going to be tough, because how much more money do you have to spend? And you have 3 pretty prominent, 2 starting rotation and a bullpen spot that you have to fill, that you're not necessarily sure that you can fill internally.
I'm going to both agree with you wholeheartedly and push back on the exact same thing you just said. And the part I'm going to agree with, when you said the starting pitching depth has hurt the Padres, I made the point this week, it has every single year. Even the years they went to the playoffs, they ran out of starting pitching in 2020 in the playoffs. They kind of ran out of starting pitching last year once they got to the Phillies series, and Clevenger wasn't getting it done and Manaea wasn't able to get it done. They've ran out of starting pitching every year. But this year, it's hard to say that while they have run out of starting pitching, hard to say that was the problem when they're among the league leaders in starting pitching ERA, in quality starts. I mean, that wasn't why they ended up where they are right now. They got great starting pitching all year long, and it still wasn't good enough.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's not exact. I mean, it is a problem next year. It has been a problem over the years, and I do think at that points to the player development thing. The other thing just might be, I wonder if there's a preparation, issue, because losing 1-run games, everyone points to the bullpen, but there is not actually a problem, I think, necessarily with this bullpen. I don't think I think it's one of the better bullpens. I don't think it's necessarily one of the top 3 or something, but it's not bottom half, So it's been a good bullpen, and bullpens have not traditionally been correlated with winning in 1-run games. In fact, mostly noise in 1-run games. So their worst record, the worst record in baseball in 1-run games, that's mostly noise. You'd expect it to be totally different next year. So you could just say, okay, hey, that's going to bounce back. But I do wonder, you do have to think, why did we lose these 1-run games? What happened there? What on our team could we do better that flips the 50-50 to 51-49? You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
And I think that, and I hate, again, in the division, teams that your listeners hate to talk about, but the Giants, I think, have flipped that switch to 51-49. One way they did it was they have 15 coaches. They have the most coaches in the big leagues. And that offers you more chances for a player to interact positively with a coach and be like, oh, I don't like that hitting coach, but we have 3 hitting coaches, so I like that other one, so it's like teacher to parent ratio.
Sure.
But it also they think about their game day prep in a way that I don't think every team does, in terms of what they do downstairs for batting practice, how they prepare, how even every second leading up to the game is sort of thought about very, very, thoroughly, I think. And I'm not saying that the Padres, I'm not there for every minute leading up to the game, but that would be something that I would look at if I was a GM.
It's really interesting you bring that up, too, because we had a little discussion about Trent Grisham earlier. And, again, you look at the numbers and you go, oh, wow, terrible year. I get a lot of people just DFA him, fire him in the sun, all of that. And then you go look at StatCast and you see a really good barrel rate, a really good chase rate, a really good walk rate. And you go, all right.
And Gold Glove defense.
Gold Glove defense. And you look at 2-WAR player and you go, yeah, at some point we need to figure out a way to make him better, because I'm pretty confident there's at least 5 to 7 other teams in baseball that if they had Trent Grisham could make him better. And I think some of it's on Trent. You have to I'm not saying he doesn't put in the work, but at some point you got to try something different. And I just wonder how much of the onus is on the team and how much is on the player for getting the most out of them.
Yeah. And I think actually Grisham has tried some things. He's been a little bit more aggressive the last couple of years than he was when he first came to San Diego, where he was extremely, extremely passive. And that's led to a few more strikeouts, but also a little bit more power in terms of the StatCast. It has not turned into more power on the field.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of a disconnect between the StatCast and the on-the-field results. And I do think that is something that teams look for. They love to, I've got that stuff plus number. They love to get a guy who has high stuff plus but not great results on the field and be like, hey, what if you just add this pitch or subtract that pitch or whatever. So, I would say that at the very least, he's a capable player that's still in the cheap part of his team control and is not necessarily a problem. And if you do find your way to, if you develop internally a corner outfielder that you think is good enough to play every day in the big leagues, then Grisham would be a great 4th outfielder and Tatis could be your center fielder. I still believe this. So, I don't think that's a big problem going forward. But I do think, I think that a lot of people, it's on the hitting side, they came up a little bit short this year.
Talking to Eno Sarris from The Athletic, and Eno, you reposted a tweet yesterday. I think it was a video from one of the Driveline guys about organizational pitching philosophies, and you've talked about it as well. But in the tweet, it says, the Mariners love sliders, the Dodgers love velocity. Does anyone know what the Padres organizational pitching philosophy is? I've tried to ask AJ, and he doesn't ever give you straight answers on anything. So what, from your observations, do the Padres have a thing that they try to identify more than anything else?
Hangers.
No, I don't know. They are. I think they are really, really good at scouting athletes on the hitting side. And I think that.
Yeah, look at their draft picks.
Given,
they love
this year
the athletic.
and consistently absolute stallions of athletes in the outfield, speed, power, all kinds of raw tools.
And it's worked well. Given how many guys they've traded away, the fact that they have Campy and Sarris and Merrill, and they still have some top prospects, that says something very positive about AJ Preller and the scouting department. It just hasn't worked on the pitching side, and I have to think that pitching right now is dominated by analytics. And the teams that are really good at developing pitching and acquiring pitching, they are the teams that are steeped in analytics. And so, that's something that I would listen to my analytics guys over my scouts, because I think there's a million ways where it's hard to scout. Fastball ride is this thing where the ball pops and the hitters, can't see it right.
Yep.
And it's really hard to see fastball ride.
Radar gun doesn't tell you.
Yeah, and naked eye doesn't tell you either.
I mean, you have to read the swings from the batters, and batters could have weird swings because of deception, or because of ride, or because they guessed the wrong pitch, you know. So there's all sorts of reasons batters can take weird swings, and you might misread the batter's reaction and say, oh, this guy's got ride, and in fact, it's just a straight-ass pitch. So, you know, I think, you know, this is why personally I've really loved pitching, and that's why I developed Stuff Plus, is to help kind of, you know, help. It's a scouting type tool. Stuff Plus is a scouting tool. It's basically saying, you know, who has good shapes on their pitches. And so I would, if I were AJ Preller, listen to my scouts. My scouts, they've done a great job with the position players, and I would listen to my analytics a little bit more on the pitching side.
Zach Wheeler had some good ride yesterday.
He did have some ride.
Sure.
Holy
We're out of
smokes.
time. Appreciate it. Great conversation as always. We'll chat with you again next week. Thank you, man.
Thanks.
Thanks, buddy.
That was Eno Sarris, sponsored by 7 Mile Casino, featuring all of your favorite table games like California-style blackjack, poker, and baccarat. Just 7 minutes from the ballpark.
Eno and all of our guests appearing on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Fan Hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet, find new roads. That was interesting.
Always.
You know,
always interesting.
Rely on your scouts maybe for your position player. It seems to be working really well on what you're drafting and developing, but maybe rely on your analytics to find pitchers a little bit more. We'll talk
maybe
more
that
about
rookie pitcher that wanted that TrackMan was right after all, Ben.
We'll talk more about it and get the Riley Report coming up next here on The Fan.
Are you still looking at You're still looking at it, aren't you?
Well, I'm just trying to do the sign-in now.
Freaking out.
He is freaking out. You should not start gambling. You're just going to be a wreck. It's just
That's
not.
why I've put it off for so long.
You don't. Do you have the intestinal fortitude for it? You don't. Him over a $10 bet, watching Lions Chiefs. If you bet $10 on the Chiefs, you'd be a wreck. He can't look at him. He's done.
Just gonna go on benders.
He's done.
He's just gonna
benders. Get it?
Uh-huh.
A bender. Look at him. He's gone.
I'm really just trying to figure out my Yahoo password.
You need Adderall. You need to get some Adderall.
Get this one.
He is
incorrect
so...
or user ID or password. Try again. I'm not going to be able to get into our account.
Yeah. We're live on the radio right now.
That's our next segment. Though.
Eyes on the prize.
We're almost
there. Eyes on the prize.
Hey, guy hits
football
number one
threesome is right around the corner here.
He hits number one and just takes his foot off the gas.
You don't have to pick tonight's game.
Yeah,
Paul, give me that stat again. So Blake Snell is going to pitch tomorrow night.
Yes.
And Spencer Strider is one of the leading candidates for Cy Young Award. So if Blake goes 7 innings tomorrow, he will match Spencer Strider's innings pitched.
Correct.
Then, one of the knocks on Blake is that he doesn't go deep enough. So that really won't be a knock. Yeah, even if he goes 6, he's within an inning. Now, in terms of earned runs allowed, if Blake wants to catch up with Spencer Strider, what does he have to do?
I'd have to give up 26 earned runs tomorrow.
26 runs tomorrow, and then they'll be even for the season.
Woo! Codified.
Feels like that's not really shouldn't be that much of a comparison then between the two. Yeah,
between those two, I'd say
Blake is like 7 good starts ahead of Spencer Strider right now.
No question.
All right, well then it's a 2-man race.
Two-man
for the
race.
Cy Young
Blake
men.
Snell, Justin Steele. What a great name. 2 great names. Blake Snell and Justin Steele.
Sounds like an 80s private investigator.
Snell and Steele.
There's Mike Hammer. There's an author named Mike Steele, something like
Danielle Steele.
Danielle Steele.
Close. There's
Mike Hammer.
Oh.
Woodsy's making jokes in his head that he's not even saying on the air.
I'm not allowed, actually. I'm not allowed.
I know you're not.
When the station was the Machine, they had that guy that worked on here. Mike Hawk is what he went by.
Michael Hawk?
No, he went by Mike Hawk was his on-air name. It's hysterical. That didn't last. The Man Show. The Men's Show?
I, for one, am shocked.
The Men's Room?
Yeah, the Men's Room.
Yeah, I'm real surprised that didn't fly
a nationally
in
syndicated
San Diego.
show.
Yeah, very surprised.
Yeah.
Mike Hawk was his name.
Let's just get to the
I can't even
report.
look at him in the eye.
Let's get to the Rindle
Why don't you
report
get to your
here.
Survivor pick? Do us all a favor.
I'll still
all right?
trying to figure it out here.
And get things started here with our today's edition of the Rindle Report.
Now tuned into the greatest.
Welcome to the Rindle Report with Paul Rindle.
Hi, Paul.
All right.
2 stories from the world of sports that we haven't gotten to yet.
We'll start off in Major League Baseball.
And 1 story that you didn't know you needed.
Are you laughing, biatch?
It's the Rindle Report
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
on 97.3 The Fan.
Are you ready to bless the mood? I need some help, please.
That was good.
Can I get a yeah? Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right.
So somebody in the chat said the Man Show with Corolla and Kimmel was amazing. That was not what was playing.
This was the Men's
It was totally
Room
different.
with
They had
Mike
a whole
Hawk.
segment with girls jumping on trampolines, didn't they?
They
at
did.
the end?
Yep.
Yeah.
The Man Show did, yes.
Yeah. The Men's Room had Mike Hawk. He was on here. He was a radio personality.
All right, gentlemen, a couple stories we have not gotten to yet. Rough news yesterday for one of my favorite players in baseball, Andrew McCutchen. He is done for the year.
Probably, maybe, potentially
And
done forever.
maybe done
Yeah,
forever.
Could be it.
Yeah, 36 years old.
Great
and
career.
It's such a fun career. It was fun to see him come back. Really fun to see Pittsburgh get off to a good start this season.
Yep, that was a lot of fun. I remember that.
He posted...
You know what wasn't fun? Seeing the Pirates smash the Padres.
Just obliterate us.
5 out of 6 times this year.
27 Yankees.
Less fun, guys.
Yeah.
Carlos Santana when he was on the Pirates. Not that fun.
You're right. They absolutely owned us.
Jack
this season.
Sawinski. Not all that much fun.
That is unbelievable.
So Kutch exited the game on Monday night, and he posted, "I'm fine. And then yesterday, 2 days later, he quote tweeted himself and said, well, no, I'm not.
Maybe not.
Dang, this sucks. And it was pointed out that I don't know how much it matters to these guys having that nice round number. He's at 299 career home runs.
Ooh. God, that would stick in my craw for the rest of my life.
I mean, obviously,
man.
like if you're at 599, like you want 600. I don't know how much.
Isn't A-Rod at like 5? Did he hit?
He got 600.
600.
Yeah.
Somebody
there was
big
that,
is that.
who was the UConn women college basketball player who like tore her ACL but was 2 points away, so they let her go into a game limp and let her make a layup?
People lost their minds.
They should let McCutcheon at like last game of the season just like limp up there and just lob him up a home run ball. Like home run derby.
A-Rod finished before 700.
699?
696.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah, that would kill me. 4 more. That would kill me. I love Andrew McCutcheon. Great dude. Great baseball player.
I mean, even numbers are just in our minds special, but there's really no difference between 696 and 703 or 682.
$79 or you want $80?
I mean,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Give me the 80.
Yeah.
$99 or $100.
But you would, if it was $67 or $68, you go, I don't really care that much.
Yeah, true.
Right.
But it's still $1.
So
it's just
true.
$1. It's not that much of a difference.
Give me 67, 68, whatever. It doesn't matter. Bro, you owe me $70.
Yeah.
What are you doing? You give me 69 on a 70? I want my dollar.
Yeah.
All right. In college football, we didn't discuss the rankings for week 2.
Oh, yeah.
The top 25. No real
Where did the 2-0 Aztecs
surprises.
Wait. What do you mean no real surprises?
Well, at the top.
At the top.
You
Got it.
You didn't let me finish.
I'm sorry.
Because Ben wanted to ask where the Aztecs were. They're not in there. What do you think?
Others receiving votes?
No.
No, not at all.
Are you kidding me?
Are you joking?
Yes, I am joking.
All right. Because you
Sorry,
scared me a little bit.
I know I'm dry sometimes.
Yes,
but
you are dry.
Yeah, I knew they weren't
You
going to
make
be
me
in there.
dry.
Georgia remains at number 1 in the AP top 25, followed by Michigan, Alabama, Florida State jumped up to number 4, and Ohio State is number 5. USC at number 6, just looking in on the top 5 there. But the biggest news of the poll definitely was Colorado. They jumped into the top 25. They're at number 22 right now.
All right,
Is Clemson in your poll?
Clemson is at number 25.
Clemson is in your
Yeah.
poll.
They dropped
That's the biggest
16 spots.
Which is
what really infuriated people though is not the AP poll, it's the coaches poll. Where Clemson is 21,
even higher,
and Duke is 24. So
That's the
Duke,
coaches.
which stomped Clemson, is still ranked behind Clemson in the top 25, and I understand why that makes people mad. If I said though right now, Gambling Woods, all right. Which team do you think will finish with a better record this season? Clemson or Duke?
Clemson.
Then why shouldn't Clemson be ranked higher? If you're trying to predict which team is better overall, if your job in ranking teams is saying, I think Clemson is better or I think Duke is better, even though Duke smashed Clemson, you still think Clemson's the better team.
Well,
don't
then
you?
why are you doing weekly? What's the point of head to head?
Well, I mean that's a good question. Why are you doing rankings at all? They're pointless. So. Either don't do them. But if you are legitimately trying to determine what team do I think is better for this season, do I trust Clemson more or do I trust Duke more? The coaches actually probably got it right. I still trust Clemson more to have a good season than I do Duke to have a good football season, and that looks bad when Duke smashes Clemson and they're behind Clemson in the rankings. But tell me if you're a college football fan out there. Tell me you really think Duke's going to have a better season than Clemson, because I don't think many people out there would actually agree with that.
Let me look at these schedules.
I think the coaches got it right. Clemson is, now maybe neither of them should be in the top 25, but I think Clemson's probably a better team than Duke, even though they didn't show it in that first game. Overall, I trust them more than I trust Duke right now.
Interesting.
I saw a reel going around this week of Kentucky's Duke's quarterback after the game looked right into the camera and he said, "Hey, Professor so-and-so, just want to let you know, I'm sorry I'm late on my assignment. I'm going to try to get it done." And the teacher responded and said, "Hey, a couple other players on the team are in my class. They said they got their work done before the game.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy, no extension."
No extensions, pal.
And then I saw he's getting murdered on ratemyprofessor.com.
No way. He's absolutely right. You knocked it out
Duke
before your
fans.
game. Oh, man.
You know that win or lose, you're not going to want to do a paper after the football game.
Yeah, just get it done.
You got to get it done beforehand.
Get it done.
Finally, just a weird, goofy
No
story.
diarrhea stories today,
No
Paulie?
diarrhea
Thank you.
stories.
Thought about that one
By the
all
way,
day?
UCLA, we're going to give away tickets. They're second in the others receiving votes, so like 27th in the country,
There you
about to
go.
face the Aztecs. We'll give away some tickets here in a few minutes.
Stephen King has been in the news, and this headline cracked me up. The headline on Entertainment Weekly says the scariest thing about Stephen King, he loves Mambo No. 5 so much
Loves
his wife nearly divorced him.
Played it incessantly.
He did a sit-down with Rolling Stone magazine promoting one of his new books, and he confirmed that he is what he calls a Bega head for Lou Bega's
A Bega. That doesn't exist. That's not a thing.
Mambo No. 5. Well, he's the Bega head. And he said, when asked if the rumors were true, he said, oh, yeah, big time.
I think we can come with a better nickname for Lou Bega fans.
Bega head.
How about an everything Bega?
We're really...
It's a good thing we have a new segment coming up,
I need to
because
evaluate.
otherwise
I need
I
to
might be out of
evaluate
here
some
by now.
decisions, man. I really do.
You get it like an everything Bega?
That actually
but it's
infuriated me a
everything
little.
Bega.
Hey, look at me, Woods. 3 more
Hey,
years
I
of
know,
this.
yeah. Hey,
3
Paulie,
more.
look at me.
How are you not
Paulie,
playing the song
It's
right
not
now?
your fault.
It's not your
It's
fault.
not your fault.
It's his fault.
It's not your fault.
Fire me up some Mambo No. 5.
It's not your fault.
Count me on it. I'm an everything Bega along with Stephen King.
This place
I like this song.
They asked him if it was true. He said, oh, yeah, big time. My wife threatened to divorce me. I played it a lot.
Can you imagine being in the other room?
Who doesn't want a little bit
and
of
your
Monica?
spouse, a little bit
in
of Monica. I would lose my mind.
You know what? The part I really like is the beginning though, where it, don't. You know the start.
No,
Yeah.
save it. Save that. And play some of this.
Yeah.
Oh,
play
I will.
Play it from the beginning. I hate you, man. Everything Bega. That part?
Yeah. I love that part.
You're like a child.
How do you make that noise?
Oh, my God.
Keyboard.
I hate you so
I
much.
hate it, man.
Just Ben just going nuts. Him and Stephen King in 1999.
It's good company.
Phenomenal.
He's America's greatest
Lou Lovers. That's
ever
it. It's
horror
way better.
writer.
Lou Lover,
Lovers.
that's good.
Yeah, it's really good.
He went on and said, I had the dance mix version.
Oh, man.
I loved those extended play things, and I played both sides of it, and one of them was just total instrumental. I played that thing until my wife just said one more time,
That's
and
it.
I'm going to effing leave you.
That's it. That is absolutely
a
it.
one more time, and we're getting divorced if you play that. Okay.
Joey said, Ben, I'm Bega-ing you. Please stop. I'm Bega-ing you. I hate the show. I hate everything. I hate you guys. I'm done. I just want to go home. Oh, dude. It's so good. Thanks, Paulie, for that.
Oh, you're very welcome.
Good job on the Roundel Report. Now, if you've been tuning in all day long, coming up next is the debut of our new segment.
Oh, yeah.
With an unbelievable open that's Paulie's created. It's our football threesome.
Oh, yes.
Some stories, our survivor picks, everything football, all wrapped up into one tidy little bow every Thursday here on Ben and Woods. And we'll get to that coming up next after a check of traffic here and giving away some SDSU UCLA tickets next here on 97.3 The Fan. I've made my pick. We will reveal our first Survivor selections momentarily. Got football for you tonight here on 97.3 The Fan. You can
I just
catch
want to say that was one of the most wild commercial break conversations we've ever had.
It really was. Let's do this tomorrow. We'll do this tomorrow.
We can go into it.
Gambling Ben is.
I view it so differently than you do. It's crazy.
Like you guys, it was like, what the hell is even happening right now?
I want to get like a chalkboard and be like, do you not understand this?
I understand.
You're
Do you not
Day
understand how
it's right there?
We'll talk about this tomorrow, and I want to hear from Tier 1s tomorrow as well.
Okay.
Ones who do and don't gamble on sports.
Sure.
Because it's huge now. It's huge.
Massive.
It's massive.
Are you? Because you said it freaked me out a little earlier when you said you want to start gambling on football. It freaked me out because I'm like, all right, midlife crisis, Ben.
Here we go.
Now, midlife crisis, Ben, will be the greatest content. I asked earlier. We're at number 1. How do you stay at number 1? Midlife crisis, Ben, is the content we need.
By developing a debilitating gambling habit.
Or just you having a midlife crisis, which is fantastic for us, at least, the content-wise. But, personally.
I'll work on that for you.
Please work on it. If you don't show up in a Corvette soon, I'm going to lose my mind.
Speaking of working on, I don't know how much time he put into it, but the results were absolute gold. Here it comes for the first time ever. It is time for the Ben and Woods Football Threesome. Paulie?
Can Ben and Woods interest you in a threesome?
A threesome would be fun.
Oh, not that kind of threesome.
Dang it.
We're talking end-arounds, the best tight ends in the world.
He must work out.
And going all the way in this game of inches.
Nice.
It's the NFL Threesome with Ben and Woods. Brought to you by Hamul Casino. Fun above all else on 97.3 The Fan.
Personal foul, 69, offense. He's giving them the business.
So fantastic, Paulie.
Get your heads out of the gutter. We're talking three football
stories. That's it.
Oh, man.
Each week, get you ready for the weekend that is coming up, starting tonight in the NFL and more. Huge. I will start us out, our first ever football threesome, with yesterday's gigantic news out of San Francisco, where the 49ers, after a training camp-long holdout, agreed to a record-setting contract with defensive end Nick Bosa. 5 years, $170 million. A bit of a surprise, so much so that even Kyle Shanahan, when he went into his news conference, I was shocked. I just found out 5 seconds ago that we signed Nick Bosa. Cheers throughout the 49ers camp, in their locker room. Everybody happy to get one of the best defensive players back in camp. And he is expected to suit up, likely, for the game against the Steelers on Sunday. So who needs training camp at all?
It's amazing.
The 5-year, $170 million deal makes him the highest-paid non-quarterback in NFL history. And interestingly enough, the guarantee, which is $122.5 million, breaks the old record of for defensive players held by his brother Joey, who had the largest guaranteed contract by a defensive player with the Chargers, and now his brother Nick. You think there's some bragging rights around the Thanksgiving table about who got the bigger contract, and now Nick has it over Joey Bosa? That's an amazing, their dad was a first-round draft pick.
Was he?
Yep, and both of his kids now are not only top picks, but now top-paid players in history. Now, there's a football family for you.
I want to find the tweet. I saw somebody's like, my man really out here putting himself through a car wreck 100 times a game for Xander Bogaerts' money, and I just died.
Grant Brisbee.
Grant Brisbee said
for
that.
half of what
Xander Bogaerts.
Joe Sheehan said, "Well, that's a Carlos Rodon
Carlos
right
Rodon.
There. He pitches every fifth day. Well,
my
not even
God.
at all
Not even.
for this year for the Yankees. Yeah, he said, play baseball, kids, not football. If you're in it for the money, you definitely get your bang for the buck in baseball.
You're going to be an elite quarterback, where you don't get hit a ton, and you can
quarterback
make all the
money's
money.
stupid, but everything else is they're gonna use you up and chew you up and spit you out in the NFL. But he had 18.5 sacks last year, led the NFL.
He's a good player.
And
Niners
the San
fans
Francisco
rejoice.
49ers probably have the best roster in football. The question is whether they've got the quarterback to take them all the way. Using the guy who was picked last in the draft last year is a risk.
Has shown a lot, though. He's
He
shown
has,
a lot in
and
short
it certainly
time.
allows you to spend a lot of money on other players when you're spending almost none on your quarterback. And that's what the 49ers have chosen to do. We'll see if it's a smart strategy this year for John Lynch and the Niners.
Well, speaking of strategy, yesterday I pulled up the lines for the game tonight. The Chiefs And the Detroit Lions are squaring off. First game of the season. It was the Chiefs were a 4.5-point favorite in that game. And I thought to myself, I said, this is easy money. It feels like easy money. I understand the Lions have a much more explosive offense now than they did. Jared Goff's still the quarterback. Right? Jared Goff is still the quarterback. Their line is a little bit better, though. Their running game's a little bit better. They got a little bit better skill position players. Defense is better. They're going to win some football games. I don't think they're going to win this one. So
they won, what, 9-8 last year?
So I pulled this stat here. I saw this from at My Sports Update yesterday. Patrick Mahomes in week 1 as starting quarterback. 2022, 360 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. 2021, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. 2020, 211 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. 2019, 378 yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions. 2018, 256 yards, 4 TDs, 0 interceptions. I like Patrick Mahomes tonight, guys. I like Patrick Mahomes, and the 4.5 points I don't think is going to be a problem. That's my gut telling me. In fact, I went ahead and picked it.
It's your survivor.
I bet it and I picked it.
Football is so good about making you second guess stuff like that.
What do you what are you worried that could go wrong?
Why is this a hot take to side with Patrick
Me?
Mahomes?
Yeah. Nothing.
Nothing?
I'm worried that nothing could go wrong.
Just the pomp and distraction of being that first game at home, that you're not necessarily as sharp and locked in as you should be for a game like that.
A pool of quicksand will form on the field and he'll fall inside.
Are you not worried that
Dan
Campbell is going to come up with the greatest motivational speech of all time?
Well, he very well may, but I still don't think they win. I still don't win this game. I picked him. I picked him in survival pool, and I bet on him, and I'm taking it.
You're all in with the Chiefs. So if the Lions win tonight, you're out. You are out for the season.
Paint my face. And I know Kelsey's probably not playing.
That's another concern. Yeah, he may not be available for the Chiefs tonight. He's questionable.
Did you hear those numbers? And again,
report?
Of course, you could probably go pull this for tomorrow. If they lose, I will sound like a jackass. I'm fine to do it. The numbers, I looked at those numbers and I went, what am I thinking about here? That dude is going to be ready to play. They're going to have them ready to play. I know, again, Kelsey's out. I think they're going to be okay. This dude can do it. He can do it a lot by himself if he needs to. So that's, by the way, in those 5 games, Ben, 1,542 passing yards, 18 touchdowns, no picks with 136.9 passer ratings. I'm in. I picked the Chiefs survivor. I took them tonight. And
you're also using up your Chiefs pick this
week. Which is fine.
Can't pick him again. This is
correct.
All right, Paulie?
Storyline that I'm interested to see this season is the Denver Broncos and what's going to happen with Sean Payton, Russell Wilson, and it was on my radar primarily this week because Seth Wickersham wrote a huge piece.
You said Wickersham.
Wickersham?
Wickersham.
Wickersham? I don't know. However you say it. He is one of the best writers in not just football, in sports.
He's awesome.
You go on ESPN, you look at the headlines. There's a lot of AP generated stories that are like 2 paragraphs long. When you see Seth Wickersham wrote a story, set aside 45 minutes because it's going to take you a while. And I'm only like a third of the way through what he wrote about Sean Payton. Its headline is Sean Payton doesn't forget anything. But what stood out to me was this guy. Remember we talked about Dov Kleiman?
Yeah, Dov Kleiman.
Nobody knows really who he is, but he's an NFL account that's got
breaks news like
over 200,000 followers.
He's a real human, yes?
Nobody knows. Sure. Nobody knows.
Is that right?
He said, according to ESPN, Broncos coach Sean Payton told quarterback Russell Wilson that to salvage his career, he needed to focus less on, quote, Russell Inc. Another quote from Payton, will you effing stop kissing all the babies? You're not running for public office.
Yeah, he's worried about the brand instead of having that dog in him,
right?
You know, which he had before. He did. Russell Wilson in Seattle
had the Roger Dorn of football.
Now he is. Yeah, now he's the Roger Dorn.
I mean, he's got his marriage to Sierra. She's doing her thing. He seems to be he's living the glam, the glitz and the glam. It did not go well for Russell Wilson last year in Denver.
It did not.
Year 1.
When I think of Denver, though, I don't think of a lot of glitz and glam. Well, you're an NFL quarterback. You're going to get that anywhere you go?
He lives here most of the time, actually.
Here?
I think he lives in San Diego. They have a place.
There's not a lot of glitz and glam here either. It's
Southern California.
I mean, Sean Payton went all in on Russell Wilson's problem was the last coaching staff, not Russell Wilson in the preseason.
And now he's saying it's Russell Wilson.
Well, someone's saying it, but
no.
Who said that?
The coach. Sean Payton said he needs to stop kissing babies.
It is Sean Payton.
Sean Payton said that, yeah.
Because Sean Payton
Still
clearly
worried about a survivor pick.
clearly blamed the last coaching staff like 2 weeks ago.
Like 2 weeks ago, he's like, "This is all their fault." Now he's like, "Actually, now that I think about it, it is Russell Wilson."
Another line from that
Russell
story.
Inc. That's
a shot.
Now I'm wearing his shoes right now. They finally broke in after about 8
Russell
months.
Wilson had shoes.
Yeah, I told you about these.
The plain white shoes.
The plain white shoes. Yeah.
There was another line
It's
in
called
there.
The Good Guys. Or
Saints general manager Mickey Loomis quoted saying he can be difficult. Talking about Peyton, he calls him his best friend. He can be difficult, but he's 2 to 3 steps ahead of everyone.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that goes.
All right, so Woodsy's already given us his survivor pick. The Chiefs. Paulie, you are going with?
I went with what I think is still an automatic lock. I picked the Washington Commanders.
All right.
And not because of the Commanders, but more because of who the hell they're playing. They're playing the Arizona Cardinals.
God, they're a train wreck, man.
That's going to be my...
It's so hard to trust the Commanders.
It really
Such
is.
A bad...
The Cowboys, the Commanders, but they've been picked a ton.
I thought
in
about
this.
maybe taking the Seahawks over the Rams after Cooper Kupp's
so
out.
that was my pick.
But I'm sticking with my gut.
I went with the Seahawks, knowing that Cooper Kupp is out, that Jared Goff is not on the same wavelength as any of his teammates. The Rams, I saw in a couple of preseason predictions, have them like 31st in their power rankings. Like, not a good team this year, coming off a bad season. And the Seahawks have a really good home field advantage. You know those fans will be loud, especially first game of the season. This weekend, it's a tough place to play, even under the best of circumstances. So I feel very confident that the Seahawks can pull out a win for me in week 1 on the Survivor Pool. Plus, Geno Smith had a really good year last year and surprised a lot of people, and they're expecting, possibly another playoff appearance
I almost
this year
went
for
with
the
the Seahawks.
Seahawks.
I was also looking at Baltimore over Houston.
Yeah, everybody
I saw that one too.
But
That was a popular one.
I think I'm going to want Baltimore later.
Yeah, and Ben,
in the season.
I may want the Chiefs later in the season too, but I like to be in the action, and the action starts tonight. So
I think if you have a team available and they're playing the Cardinals that week, that's probably going to be a
good
safe pick.
Yeah, but also like a team that can beat Detroit, who will be better this year. At some point might have to pick Detroit to win a game. So I'm going to take this now. I'm going to get it out of the way. Chiefs will win tonight. They will cover 4.5.
All right, that is our first football threesome,
I love the threesome
of the year, and that was fun.
I actually am very satisfied.
The threesome
after
was
that threesome.
nice.
That was.
People in the chat, did you say Jared Goff with the Rams?
Didn't it Jared Goff? Is it not?
Matt Stafford.
Oh, that's what I meant. No,
Jared Goff
it's
is
Jared
the,
Goff.
is
He's
the
with the
Lions.
Lions.
That's what I said.
That's what he said.
Ben,
Yeah, you got it right.
Oh, yeah.
Ben said Jared Goff. I
You
think.
meant Stafford.
Oh, did I? I meant Stafford.
Yeah.
Did I? I didn't even say. You said
Stafford
Jared.
is the Rams
Yeah.
quarterback. Goff is the Lions
Right.
quarterback. Yeah.
Right.
I was like, I looked at the depth chart yesterday, so it better be right.
But we do know Cooper Kupp is out.
He is out.
Probably extended time. They're thinking about putting him on the IR. Not good for the Rams, for sure. All right, we'll come back. Last segment of the day. First, though, we got some tickets to give away. Pair of tickets to see the Aztecs take on UCLA, biggest game of the season at Snapdragon Stadium. You can get your tickets at goaztecs.com. They're going for a pretty penny right now. You can win 2 right now. Be the 5th caller at 833-288-0973. 5th caller wins at 833-288-0973. Good luck. Call now, and we'll wrap up Ben and Woods coming up next year on 97.3 The Fan.
So did you see the, Benjamin, did you see the news about the Pat McAfee show? They're starting now on ESPN.
Saw this yesterday, yeah.
Now,
they hadn't even actually started yet?
No, they start today's the first day.
Today?
Guess who his guest is?
No, let me go with Aaron Rodgers.
Correct. And I just saw a tweet. I haven't heard it yet, but he said they're testing the limits of the ESPN has said, hey, you can't. He's on a huge delay.
You gotta bring the whole story. The context is he was on ESPN, then he left and was with FanDuel or DraftKings or something like that. He was on YouTube, and he was wildly successful on YouTube. And he could curse. He could say whatever he wanted, pretty much.
That could take us to the next level, man.
Yeah, it really could.
It really would.
And we've
you really think that cursing is that interesting to people?
Yeah.
You both answer that instantly.
Yeah. No question.
We've all heard cursing.
Doesn't matter. If I come in here and I go, these pathetic mother, it's so much better.
I don't
Bro,
know
you want
that
me to
it makes
show
a
you
difference at all.
the streams that we've done only on YouTube?
Oh my God.
Not on the air. It's incredible.
Staggering.
So Pat McAfee, bring it back to him. He did his thing on YouTube, and then he recently, in the last 6 months, couple months, signed with ESPN again for a ridiculous amount of money. But part of the deal was he said, "I'm bringing my YouTube show. Like, I'm not stopping my daily YouTube
He said, I'll
show."
curtail it a little bit for its cable.
But he said, "I'm still cursing though."
And they have put him on like a huge delay. So I got to hear this. This is Aaron Rodgers and Pat McAfee test ESPN's censorship rules.
Interesting.
Wonderful. I mean, people like write Adam emails if I say like butthole. You know what I mean? Like there's an email. You know what I mean? Like I say that guy's a real butthole. Don't can't listen to this anymore. Fine. Like grow up, Peter Pan. It's 2023.
I don't know that our show would change that much.
No, you can't
but
overdo it.
You would get the most authentic version of at least 2/3 of the show.
Yeah, 2/3 of this show. And then if he was really mad and dropped like an S word or something,
damn,
they're playing like ass. I'd fall over my chair. So yeah, I'd say it would be dramatic. The difference would be dramatic. Because on the streams, I let it fly.
Double dang it.
Yeah, double dang it. Double farts.
Just think about
freaking Spalding over here.
Some of the moments, like, can you imagine, like, if we were on XM, what would our show have sounded like the Monday after we beat the Dodgers last October?
Forget, bro. It would have been all nude. It would have done an all nude show. It would have been incredible. BYOB, we're all nude today on Ben and Woods. Would be so good. So yeah, it is interesting. So they are going to with Aaron Rodgers on there too, who's like wanting to start, S. He's wanting to.
We understand what you mean.
Sure.
You don't have to say it. That's the thing. I don't know that it makes a difference.
It does. It makes a huge difference. Will you trust me? Trust me. It would make a world of difference. But yeah. So now he's just gonna be pushing the limits on there for how many F-bombs he drops. But they've got him on a massive delay, which is gonna make the show sound weird. I think. I mean, it's gonna go quiet for a while.
Is there
I thought it was a delayed start.
I assume they have like a staff that's got a dump button that, you know how when you're watching like network television and someone curses in the background, it goes quiet. Do they just cut out the audio for a couple seconds?
In baseball games every now and then.
They can kind of dump it. Okay, he all right, he hit the button and it like erases the last.
No, I didn't look
3
into
seconds.
it at all. I was under the impression he was going to tape from, let's call it 8 a.m. on the East Coast from 8 to 10, and then it was going to air like an hour later, and they could go in and edit the whole thing.
Quickly.
Like it was going to be like an hour delayed.
It's not live.
I saw that they had him on a delay. Like when they say a delay,
that's usually just a few seconds.
It's interesting.
But
here we go.
Delay.
Real quick.
Yeah.
The following. Oh no. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk, Ben. If you're young, please seek permission before watching any further. He has a little disclaimer on there. So yeah. Interesting.
Speaking of Aaron Rodgers,
I do love when one sneaks through in the baseball broadcast when the guy is up at the plate and the mics are hot, swings and strikes out, and you can hear him on the way back to the dugout like duck, but he didn't say duck. It just kills me every time. I'm like, that's what I'm talking about. What would you pay for mics to have all access on a baseball field to hear it all? The convos between umpires and. There's no price. I'd probably pay $150 a month.
If they knew that everything was being, instantly transmitted, I think they would be more careful, and then it wouldn't be as good.
They know there's cameras there now. They know you don't.
Yeah, but the audio, they know that their conversation, like in a guy talking to the first baseman, they're having a chat. They know they don't have to censor themselves.
Yeah. But the umpires and hitters would be fascinating to me. I don't think that would change very much. I really don't. I think you're locked in the zone, you're ready, and he blows a call, and mics are on. I still think it would be phenomenal.
Or you can get Andy Green yelling at the umpire.
ESPN
Totally clean,
like
100% clean.
How'd that work out for him? ESPN will air the Pat McAfee show on a delay to deal with all the swearing. Hopefully, whoever is on that button has great attention.
That would
to
mean
detail.
kind of a shorter delay, I would think. Speaking of Aaron Rodgers, did we talk about this on the air or off the air yesterday?
Off the air.
His so the final episode of Hard Knocks came out, and Aaron Rodgers talks about his UFO sighting.
Yeah.
That he believes he was in Jersey, staying at a buddy's house. They had a dinner, and then
it was before the NFL draft.
Yeah,
in
and
New York.
that night he heard a noise, and they went outside, and he says basically it looked like the scene from Independence Day when the aliens are arriving, and then there were like some fighter jets that were chasing the alien ship that he saw.
Yeah.
Does anyone? I mean, what are everyone's thoughts here?
Paulie and I believe in UFOs and alien life forms. You do not. That's okay. To each their own. But yeah, he said.
So
we know he's famous for his use of mind-altering substances.
Sure. But I think a lot of people
probably wasn't on money before the draft.
The night before the draft, I doubt he took peyote. The night before. Like, I'm going to push the envelope here. I'm going to go on a 3-day trip.
Years ago, he went on a podcast with comedian Pete Holmes, and he talked about this story for like 45 minutes, in depth. This was like a 3-minute clip in Hard Knocks. And I listened to that, I remember, and I just was like, look, I don't know if it happened or not, but
it's an interesting story.
Somebody that's clearly like done their reading and knows about
what reading? The reading of other wackos who've said that they've seen UFOs?
Look, you can disagree with Aaron Rodgers. He's a mostly well-educated individual. He
smart guy.
He does his
so
homework.
his readings, his research has
He
shown
does his own research.
that UFOs tend to be sighted around power plants and volcanoes and things with a lot of energy. I mean, is there a theory that goes along with that?
Yeah, it's like you gas up.
It's like their Tesla charging station when they.
It's where you go to gas up. Obviously,
my point was
crossing the galaxy. It's like, oh, we need to power up. There's Earth. They've got like some nuclear power plants. We just plug right in, and then we're on our way off to Alpha Centauri or wherever.
My point was more when I hear Aaron Rodgers, even if I completely disagree with something that he's saying, I don't dismiss it immediately, like as if he's some drugged out lunatic.
Right. We have high definition cameras now everywhere, on the sky, on everything.
This was
all
2004.
the time.
This was 2004.
But apparently it's common. I mean, hey, he's done his research. I mean, this happens all the time. There's all kinds of sightings around power plants and volcanoes.
You remember the congressional hearings?
Yeah,
and the guy said they found the body.
The only time we ever have any video, it's always just one little blinking light somewhere. We have never gotten a clean shot of Bigfoot or the Loch Ness
this
Monster
happened before the
or
iPhone
the
even came
alien
out.
ship. Ever. We never, ever get a clean shot of anything.
So you don't believe?
When you hear a
So
guy,
you don't believe?
When
So
you
you
hear
don't
a guy
believe?
like Aaron Rodgers
Next
talk
question.
for 45 minutes in grave detail with other people around him, he goes, if I call my buddy, I'll text him every once in a while and be like, hey, do you remember? And he goes, cuts me off. He goes, I think about it every day of my life, what we saw that night. And I just go, I don't know if I believe it or not.
Populated
But how do you
suburban
disagree
New
with it?
Jersey. Why aren't there 800,000 people that are verifying this story? How we clearly saw a UFO. Shouldn't it have been a front page story on the New York Times the next day?
It was way out there.
UFO spotted in New Jersey. Banner headline.
I
That's
saw
big
it. I
news.
see it in the grocery store on the
UFO.
magazines. That's always on the magazines. Always at the grocery
No, it's
store.
the mass
You're so
media
defensive.
covering up
Why are you
the
so
UFO.
defensive? Why are you so defensive?
I mean,
about
we
it?
get the meeting every year. Hey, make sure you cover up all the UFO news because we don't want the sheep out there to find out about all the UFO sightings. That's Media 101. We get that memo every single year from Odyssey.
Have you never
Don't
seen...
let anyone know about the real UFO sightings.
He doesn't believe.
He's
so defensive about it. It's not like it makes you dumb to believe in UFOs. It makes you...
Ben thinks it does.
It doesn't.
Ew. It makes me question
It
your
literally
logic
hurts.
and critical thinking skills a little bit.
It literally hurts my brain to think about space.
Of course.
And just the infinity of
By
space.
the way, how dare you? How dare you think? How dare you?
F you.
I fully
God, I wish
believe,
we were on Sirius
I
XM.
fully believe there is life somewhere else in the universe. I do not believe
That they drive
that they're
vehicles?
regularly traveling here, and somehow only a couple of people have seen brief glimpses of it. We would all know if UFOs were here every couple of years someone stops by. We'd have plenty of evidence if that was the case.
Have you ever seen something in the air and you had absolutely
Of course.
Of course. What is that technically?
It's an unidentified flying object.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, I'm trying to think. It's happened so many times that I'm like,
yes.
oh, what the hell is that?
In that
and then,
sense,
you know what they always say? Military drill.
In that
Don't worry
sense,
about
UFOs exist. If you believe that they're aliens traveling from faraway solar systems,
He never said, I saw little green men coming out of there.
Exactly.
He just said, I saw this massive ship, something in the sky.
I hope they snatch him up. I hope they come down and they snatch you up.
Probe me.
He still wouldn't believe it. Yeah, probe you. So fascinating.
It's so interesting that you want to travel thousands of light years just to probe.
Explain run differential, Ben. This is why it's a myth, you idiots.
Oh my God.
It wasn't yesterday's game a perfect example of why run differential doesn't matter? Moron. He's arguing with him. No, you don't understand.
It's just bad luck,
Look at
guys.
all these teams. We are the only plus team. You are a moron.
You just get zapped away forever.
And then they wipe your memory so they have no memory of what happened afterwards.
Yeah, people in the chat think you know something. You're so defensive that you must know
It's the
something.
most worked up I think I've ever seen you get. Why
No,
is that,
you know
Ben?
what? Because if I am the only one that's being left out of this, I am feeling kind of hurt at this point.
Eric says in the chat, I'm with you, Ben. Some people think believing in UFOs makes them edgy. I definitely don't think it makes me edgy. I'm almost
Honestly,
afraid
I
not to.
I think pretty much everything Aaron Rodgers believes he thinks makes him edgy.
Now Aaron Rodgers is but there's like the dude from Blake is like he's not. This isn't like a hey dude, I smoked a joint, I believe it. That dude has done
He's like dedicated his life
to it, and you read some of his tweets, and you're like, I'd feel embarrassed not to believe in some of this. He's not crazy.
All right,
he did ditch us, but he's not crazy.
Let's check out the very identifiable driving objects on our freeways with a check of traffic here on 97.3 The Fan.
From the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Traffic Center, part of the Premier Auto family, here's Kelly Danick.
Traffic is sponsored by Caltrans, reminding you to avoid the 5 for a faster ride Friday, September 8th. Got a ladder in middle lanes on South 5 Coastline right before Del Mar Heights Road. Fortunately, no other trouble spots on our freeways. A lot of Caltrans projects going on in and around the county, guys. So please take it extra carefully if you see those workers off to the side. In fact, move over a lane if it's safe to do so. Speaking of which, beginning 9 p.m. Friday, southbound Interstate 5 will close between Interstate 8 and downtown San Diego till 5 a.m. Monday, September 11th. Use southbound 805 or southbound 163 to avoid delay through downtown. Yeah, have fun with that this weekend. I'm Kelly Danick with Ben & Wood, San Diego's #1 sports station, 97.3 The Fan.
I hate that we only have a minute left because I could go on for another hour with that conversation.
Easily.
I got an email just now. Dude, I've legitimately seen a UFO, and I get chills remembering it to the day. It's been almost 10 years ago. Not going to lie, I love Ben to death, but he sounded very ignorant just now. Very rare from Ben.
Very cocky.
I would like to get that person to call in
Tomorrow. Hey, we have an off day today,
We got
so there's
nothing
jackass
but
to talk
time.
about tomorrow. Nothing.
Because yesterday's 5-1 loss gave us just so much content
reams
over
of
these last 4. I always laugh at people. What are you guys going to do in the offseason when there's no Padres? What, like they've given us anything to talk about this season at all,
No
other
question.
than complaining for like 45 minutes a
pissing
day?
and moaning. Yeah, we will. We'll continue the UFO talk tomorrow. Paulie, get that person's info. Have them call in
100%.
In the open tomorrow. We'll just like one long soap opera here on Ben & Woods.
All guests on Ben & Woods appear on the Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad Fan Hotline. Save money the right way with Premier Chevrolet of Carlsbad. Visit them today in the Carlsbad Auto Mall. Chevrolet find new roads. Of course, in the place of Padres baseball today, we will bring you NFL football, game 1 of the season from Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City, 5:20 kickoff. Kansas City Chiefs. Woods' survivor pick this week against the Detroit Lions from Westwood One here on 97.3 The Fan. First, though, Coach John Quintera coming up next with Braden. That'll do it for us on a Thursday. For executive producer and imaging director Paul Reindl, for Stephen Woods, I'm Ben Higgins. Have a great rest of your day from all of us here at San Diego's #1 sports station, #1 morning show, 97.3 The Fan.